And welcome everyone to the Midseason Showdown here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I am Brendan Benavides, and joining me, of course, is Jordan Henry.
Hello, hello.
And we kind of got a late start due to some bad weather, but we are jumping right into the first round where we have Matthew Greaves, someone who's been on stream many, many times before. And first time, I believe, to the stage, Kyle Gottlieb.
And we see Matthew Greaves decided to open with his Tyranitar and Tapu Bulu, as Kyle is going with his Garchomp and Pelipper. And you see with the teams on the sides, Kyle seems to be going for sort of a rain team setup, while Matthew is going more for a little more well-rounded.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple things that I definitely do enjoy, though, with this new 2018 season is just the fact that the whole entire Pokedex now, except for, of course, a few mythicals and legends, are not, it's open to everything. And it brings back so many amazing fun tech from past years, especially a lot of different weather teams, which I'm excited about.
Kyle swaps out his Pelipper for Gartana. Good move considering that Sand is out on the team. Garchomp goes for a Poison Jab on Tyranitar, interestingly enough. And Tapu Bulu hits the Horn Leech on Gartana, probably trying to hit the Pelipper instead, doing a little bit of damage.
We do see that that is going to be a Life Orb, but Tyranitar is going to fire back on that Garchomp with an Ice Punch and straight up get the knockout on the first turn. Very nicely done by Matthew there.
I'm 85% sure that Poison Jab was a misclick. Because the Poison Jab on Tapu Bulu wipes it out. Quadruple damage.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it's going to be very, very interesting. Of course, as you guys do see on the screen, going down Matthew's team really quickly, we have Gengar, Hitmontop, that Tapu Bulu, Como-O, Volcarona, as well as that Tyranitar, while Kyle is rocking out with that rain kind of style team with Pelipper, Garchomp, Swampert, Como-O, Kartana, and Lando, but this is not Lando's side, this is Lando T. Unfortunately, I don't have the sprite for it, so my apologies.
Yeah. So, Pelipper comes back out, changing the Sand to Rain. A good setup for Kyle's side of the field. Absolutely.
As now, Tyranitar isn't going to be able to get that special defense boost that it usually gets in the Sand.
As well as having a little bit of whittling down on Kyle's side of the field. So, this also will allow Kyle to take advantage of some of his rain abusers that he has in the back, like that Swampert. Matthew decides to pull back his Tyranitar instead of bringing out the Volcarona. Interesting choice. I don't know if it's the best one. Tapu Bulu goes for the Protect. Kartana, Smart Strike.
Ooh, right into that protected Bulu slot. Very nicely done, and Pelipper goes ahead and gets up that Tailwind.
Despite being one Pokemon down, at this point I would say that Kyle is probably in the advantage here, at least as far as what's out on the field. With the Tailwind on Kyle's side of the field, that Volcarona probably isn't going to do a whole lot, you know, with its fire being weakened in the rain, and the fact that Pelipper is both water and flying, which are both ways to be super effective against fire and bug, but instead swaps it out for the Swampert.
Very risky move, as we do know that Volcarona can carry moves such as Giga Drain, which could really hurt that Swampert fairly quickly, but we're going to go ahead and see, as that Swampert comes in, Matthew's going to make a wonderful read here and get that Sand back up, preventing that Mega Swampert from going and getting that double speed into the rain.
And Kartana goes down with an Overheat on Volcarona.
Such a powerful attack, a very risky attack as well. After every hit, it does drop the special attack of that Pokemon by 2 stages, as well as it is only a 95% accurate move if I'm not mistaken. So you can miss it at times. I know I have.
It sucks when you do, but for Matthew, it paid off.
But here now we see Kyle bringing in that Pelipper once again to get up that rain for his Swampert, and now probably wanting to go on the offensive here. Definitely wanting to make great use of that Swampert while it is in the rain. Obvious choice for Matthew here is to either protect the Tyranitar for one turn by either swapping it out or using Protect, of course, going into something else. As to what he could send in, maybe the Hitmontop with maybe an Intimidate. I'm not really sure, you know, what could really happen. I do definitely see an Ice Punch potentially coming into that slot to probably be the Tapu Bulu, but we'll have to see here what
Tapu Bulu
actually happens.
And the Swampert goes for Mega Evolution to take advantage of the rain, as Mega Swampert gets the ability Swift Swim, which doubles its speed when the rain is falling.
And we do see that Pelipper actually go for the Protect here, and the Tailwind is also up on the other side of the field for Kyle, so that Swampert is super fast.
Super speedy.
And we do see that Swampert go for the Earthquake, which is very interesting considering that the grassy terrain is still up for the whole entire field, so it will actually have lowered the power of Earthquake. You see just how little that Earthquake is going to do, which is very, very unfortunate.
He was probably anticipating being able to land it on both Volcarona and Tyranitar, since Tyranitar swapped out for Tapu Bulu. Not only was Tapu Bulu resisting the Earthquake, but the grassy terrain neutered the power of Earthquake. So ultimately, that wound up doing basically nothing. We'll have to see Volcarona swaps out, probably for Tyranitar again, as we see, to get rid of the rain and replace it with the Sandstorm again. Now that Kyle is down to his last 2 Pokemon, he can't swap Pelipper back out to reset the rain. At this point, Sandstorm is here for good.
Which is very, very unfortunate for Kyle, but we do see this huge waterfall coming off, being able to pick up the knockout on that Tyranitar. Just goes to show the huge power that follows behind Mega Swampert.
Tapu Bulu actually went for another Protect. The Hydro Pump from Pelipper going into that Protect. An interesting move. I would have thought that Hurricane would have been a better choice. But as we can see, the grassy terrain has now disappeared from a few turns earlier when Tapu Bulu had come onto the field and laid it out. So Earthquake is going to be back at its full strength, but I wouldn't necessarily say that's the best option at the moment. Now that the Tailwind has also worn off, Swampert is back to its regular speed, which means that Tapu Bulu, if it lands any sort of Grass-type attack on Swampert, quadruple effective, that Swampert is going down, and that will be what Matthew needs to ensure the win on Kyle.
Absolutely, Matthew really has paced himself really well here, making good advantage of when to swap out for the weather, knowing when to go for those red protects, and really is very commanding this round 1.
Kyle was trying to do the same thing, but ultimately wound up having a couple of Pokemon unable to take the beating.
And Volcarona actually going for Rage Powder. I didn't even know Volcarona actually got Rage Powder, which is really quite interesting. It is going to allow Kyle to go ahead and get up that Tailwind to greatly benefit his Mega Swampert as best as it can, as the Volcarona does go ahead and go down thanks to that. Oh, the Flame Body! Ooh.
Swampert does not appreciate being burned.
Oh, by any means. And here comes off the Horn Leech onto that Mega Swampert. And like you said, that's times 4 effective. That Swampert's going down. Very nice read there for Matthew, wanting to center it on Volcarona, knowing that his win here is going to be Tapu Bulu. And with that burn was just, I was just extra hurt.
Absolutely. Now we get to see what Matthew's 4th Pokemon is, and it's Gengar. So this is going to be tough. Kyle still has his Tailwind up, and if Kyle predicts things accurately and either predicts a Protect on Tapu Bulu and goes for a move powerful enough to knock out Gengar in 1 hit, Kyle might be able to pick up the win on this. But Kyle decides to go for the forfeit instead.
And so Matthew Greaves goes ahead and picks up Game 1 here in round 1. Very nicely done. Kind of looking at the team and how Game 1 went here, Kyle's really going to have to start to get into Matthew's head and really trying to start making really good predictions to really benefit that weather, because if Mega Swampert is that key for him to win here, he's definitely going to have to prioritize when to set up that rain and when to not just switch Pelipper in and out, and when to bring in that Swampert as well.
Absolutely. I think one thing that would help him in this situation is rather than relying on rain to give his Swampert the extra speed, instead just using Tailwind and ignoring the Sandstorm from Tyranitar until he can knock it out, and then try to bring the rain back in afterwards. Get a Tailwind up, get Mega Swampert up to speed, and then just start waterfalling everything.
And one thing that I was noticing, especially from Matthew's side, is that Tyranitar. That Tyranitar took a Leaf Blade from Kartana from Kyle, and it did very, very little damage. That's a very defensive Tyranitar, surprisingly. Okay, and we are in the team prep screen for Game 2 here in Round 1. It's going to be interesting to see if Matthew switches things up or if Kyle's going to switch things up, because Matthew all day definitely has the advantage with weather, just because Tyranitar is not the fastest Pokemon. And so because of that, it definitely guarantees him the rain. I mean the sand, my apologies. But something that's been fun that I hope that we do see a little bit more so of today is the fact that Kommo-o getting a huge buff with the Kameleon Z, as well as a wonderful set of new moves from Ultra Sun and Moon. So if we see some Kommo-o sweeps, I'm going to be perfectly fine with that.
You know, I think Kyle would have won last time if he had Poison Jabbed the Tapu Bulu. That would have gotten him the win.
As we do see Pelipper and Kommo-o make their way onto the field. We do see a Kommo-o, but we now have Gengar and Hitmontop, so both sides swapping things around.
This is actually a good setup for Kommo-o, mostly because none of his weaknesses are on Matthew's side of the field. And so unless if Matthew is able to burst him down super fast, he's probably going to be able to get off his signature Z move. So I'm excited to see him pull it off. Pelipper manages to get his rain up because there's no Tyranitar on Matthew's side of the field.
But it is going to be fairly challenging now, because I believe we did see that Intimidate come off of that Hitmontop, lowering the physical attack of Kommo-o by one stage. But we do see that Kommo-o go ahead and swap out, potentially even fearing a Dazzling Gleam. We do see the Swampert now make its way onto the field. And Gengar, we're going to see a Mega Gengar make its return now in this new VGC 2018 season. And oh, it's so nice to see it, because now both of those Pokemon that are there cannot swap out due to Gengar's ability. We do see the Icy Wind now lowering the speed. Ooh, very nicely done by Matthew. Very nicely done.
At the same time, though, if the Tailwind goes up, as we see, Swampert doesn't really, at this point, Swampert doesn't really care if you lower his speed, because it's already so huge that, like, you're going to need 4 stacks of Icy Wind in order to get it somewhere close to its original speed.
Absolutely, and the fact that it did swap in after that Hitmontop came on, it doesn't have any negative attack whatsoever. So this is going to be a huge hit if Kyle plays his cards right.
I could see Hitmontop swapping in for a Tyranitar, but Kyle is going for a Waterfall on Mega Gengar, because Mega Gengar, if you don't get rid of it fast, it's powerful enough. It'll just start taking Pokemon down one by one.
Absolutely, and another thing that's going to be interesting to see is if Matthew does or not, is if that Swampert does want to go for Earthquake, there is that potential for Tapu Bulu to swap in and getting up the terrain to lower the power of Earthquake, where we actually see Kommo-o go ahead and swap in now. Very interesting play here, as we do see that Swampert go ahead and Mega Evolve. I mean, he went to the gym. He's been doing them curls.
Yeah, he skips leg day, though.
He really does.
Pelipper goes for the Protect. I see a Waterfall here soon. Oh, an Ice Punch.
Ooh, very nicely done.
Oh, but he went for the wrong slot. He was expecting Hitmontop to swap out instead of Gengar, which is what I was expecting, too.
That's what I was expecting as well, but very interesting here. Mega Gengar, that swap there, he got his Kommo-o in for free as well.
Yeah, but this is dangerous. He now knows that Swampert has Ice Punch. But I mean, it's kind of safe to assume that anyways, but an Ice Punch onto Kommo-o, well, I guess it's not quadruple weak to ice.
No, it's not. I think it's only ×2, or maybe is it neutral due to fighting? No, I don't think so.
No, it's not neutral. So it's still super effective, but I think it might be able to take at least one hit.
And here we see that Tapu Bulu go ahead and come in, probably predicting the Earthquake this time around. But very nicely done. At least I think that's actually a really good read for Matthew, just because Matthew was able to see such a powerful move on Mega Swampert, and now we do see the Ice Punch actually go into that slot now. So Matthew made a wonderful read there, able to get his Tapu Bulu in for free.
And now he has the pressure on Swampert. I mean, Swampert is going to go first. I'm pretty sure Tapu Bulu will be able to survive one Ice Punch, and possibly Kommo-o as well. So we'll have to see. That's a lot of pressure on Swampert, because Swampert will not survive if it gets even breathed on.
Absolutely, but you got it. But like you said, that Tailwind is up, and there's another Kommo-o on the other side of the field here. But we do see the Kommo-o on Matthew's side go ahead and swap right back out into that Hitmontop, wanting to cycle through that Intimidate, which is actually really nicely done, that will definitely allow his Tapu Bulu at the very least to live one Ice Punch, like you said. But we go ahead and see the Kommo-o go for a Protect here, and if that, I'm willing to bet we do see the Ice Punch go ahead. So very, very nicely done. But he actually just straight up goes for the Hitmontop. Not, oh, very, very wonderful reads by Matthew. But now the Dazzling Gleam.
Yeah, trying to go for the Kommo-o, because that Dazzling Gleam will just most likely erase that Kommo-o from the map.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that this is probably a mixed set of all things as far as a Tapu Bulu set is. If I'm not mistaken, Tapu Bulu doesn't really have the best Fairy-type moves to take advantage of its stab.
But, you know, any type of Fairy on Kommo-o, Tapu Bulu is in a good position right now. But at the same, and the Tailwind wore off, so now the fact that the Mega Swampert still has the speed drop from the Icy Wind from before means that even though it goes for the fake out, Dazzling Gleam again, Kommo-o swapped out, so now it's just a little bit of damage on both sides.
And we do see that how much damage that actually does there. And I'm hopefully I'm counting this right. I believe rain might be subsiding either this turn or the next. Looks like we do have at least one more turn here, but very, very nicely done.
Yeah, I think it might be a couple more turns if that Pelipper is holding the stone that extends.
The damp stone?
Yeah, that extends the rain for a few turns. So this is a very tricky situation.
Definitely more aggressive on Kyle's side for sure. Here we do see Kartana coming in, which can definitely eat up all the Dazzling Gleams at once. And Swampert does go for the Ice Punch now at -1 to see how much that does to Tapu Bulu, and we see just how little damage that does.
Stone Edge of the Kartana, but quadruple resist, I'm pretty sure, so that does nothing. And Swampert finally goes down. We were waiting for this moment to happen, and it happened.
Absolutely, and we do see Tapu Bulu being able to get a little bit of health back there from that.
About as much as the Ice Punch did, really. So it looks like Matthew's starting to edge ahead now that Kyle's had one of his Pokemon faint. Have to see what he decides to bring back out.
Absolutely, something for sure would be that Kommo-o to fire off some sort of huge attack of some kind. Another thing he could possibly do is bring in that Pelipper for some Hurricane shenanigans. Being super effective on both of the Pokemon on the field. Three out of the 4 Mons that Matthew has, if you count the Kommo-o as well. But we do see Kyle's own Kommo-o come onto the field.
I'm pretty sure we're going to see the Z move this turn. Kartana is going to probably go for Smart Strike on Tapu Bulu to either get the knockout or at least pressure into a Protect to give Kommo-o the opportunity to use its Z move.
And if Kommo-o is able to get up that boost, we do see Hitmontop wanting to swap out to cycle in and out of that Intimidate just in case of something like that. But we do see the Kommo-o go straight for the Protect.
Oh, so the Z move isn't this turn. Kartana goes for the Smart Strike on Tapu Bulu. We'll see if he gets the knockout.
Ooh, and it looks like it barely lives here, but with that recoil damage from that Dazzling Gleam into the Life Orb, it might be enough, maybe not. I think it's going to be holding up for just a little bit more.
Holds on, just a little bit.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, I believe it's 10% of your health?
Something like that. I don't remember the exact percentage. But now we'll see the Z move go off. Kartana Kartana will probably force a Protect on Tapu Bulu, as clearly it'll be able to get the knockout if it goes for another Smart Strike, which gives Kommo-o the opportunity to Z move.
But we do see Shadow Ball now go ahead and connect into that Kartana. We're going to see Kartana's going to hold on with the slightest sliver of health this time, get that Smart Strike off, and Tapu Bulu finally falls. And are we going to see a Z move? Are we going to see something else come out?
Excited.
We do see Kartana get that Beast Boost with the attack. And here it comes!
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment is here.
The Kommo-o Z has made its appearance here for VGC 2018 season.
Langerous Soul Blade. It doesn't quite pick up the knockout on Gengar, but that's okay.
That is, I'm sorry, that has got to be probably the best Z move animation I think they have.
Oh, absolutely. I'm pretty sure this is on This is Kyle's game now at this point. With Como-O's Z move in play, this is just... He's just going to wrap things up. So we'll have to see if Kyle's going to go for double protect just to stall out the fake out this time around. Or if he's just going to let it happen on one of his Pokemon and just try to knock out the Gengar. At the very least, he's probably going to want to protect his Kartana, considering that it's in the red. Matthew probably going to go for the fake out Hitmontop. Gengar. Yep, we see the fake out. Land on the Como-O. Gengar goes for the Shadow Ball.
Getting up that knockout on the Kartana. Not wanting any more Beast Boost shenanigans there.
Como flinches, and Kyle is now down to 2 Pokemon as well.
Yeah, the fact that that Como-O is at +1 does definitely give Kyle the advantage. And if Pelipper is able to potentially pull off and get a tailwind up of some kind, I think that Kyle will be able to take back this game too.
Como-O's a monster when he's got +1 to all of his stats. This is not something you want.
Well, almost +1 now because that Hitmontop did cycle through and get the Intimidate off.
This is true. Its attack is now back down to its regular level. Whew. Como-O's probably just going to hit something hard. Pelipper probably going to go for a Tailwind, as Kyle is wont to do. Instead, actually goes for the Protect. Probably because he knows that Gengar will be able to finish it off. Hitmontop goes for the Wide Guard, probably anticipating Clinging Scales. Gengar goes for the Shadow Ball.
Ooh, right into that protected Pelipper slot. And we do see that Clinging Scales, which goes ahead and gets protected.
That Pelipper's probably not going to stick around much longer, considering how much faster Gengar is. Just a Shadow, and how weak Pelipper is. A single Shadow Ball is going to be enough to pick up the knockout. Now Kyle has a choice with Como-O on which attack he's going to use.
Absolutely. It's definitely going to be very, very tricky, because if he does go for the Clinging Scales, which is probably a guaranteed knockout, with the Wide Guard here, it's not going to do anything. So is he going to go ahead and go for another attacking move? We do see the Sludge Bomb go ahead and get that knockout on the Pelipper. Very, very nicely done. And now we do see Clanging Scales. I'm wondering if Clanging Scales is the only attacking moves that this Como-O has.
I hope not. No, it's got a few options. He's just hoping that Hitmontop will go for something else.
But the longer he waits, wait, hold on. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Clanging Scales a special attacking move?
Yes, it's a special attacking move.
Oh, very nice. So that Intimidate's actually not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Well, I learned something here.
And his speed drops back down to normal. You see the Flash Cannon go off, pick up the knockout on the Gengar. Probably should have happened to turn 2 before, but that's okay.
Very, very nice, because now that Intimidate won't be able to cycle through.
Honestly, I would have gone for the Hitmontop first. Because get rid of the Wide Guard and then Clinging Scales.
Absolutely. The only thing, yeah, and I definitely agree with you, because if this Como-O, I believe, is the Bulletproof set, I believe moves like Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb are blocked, are they not?
Oh, so I think so. I can never remember the exact list of what that affects. Como-O goes for the Protect.
Do you see the Flash Cannon now go into that protected Como-O slot? Very nicely done. And now the Hitmontop goes for the close combat, and I think that was the right read now. Slowly starting to whittle down that Como-O here. Because as...
and if he can bait into another Clinging Scales with Wide Guard, Matthew might be able to still pick up the win.
Absolutely. It's going to be very, very tricky. We do see that Hitmontop go for the Wide Guard, predicting that Clinging Scales.
Kyle take the bait? Does Kyle take the bait?
We do see Como-O go for the Drain Punch.
Given that the Icy Wind had lowered his speed, it's now probably a speed tie. Instead goes for the Flash Cannon. Hits Como-O, but... that's a critical hit, too. That Como-O is pretty tough.
Absolutely. So if Kyle gets the speed tie here, Kyle will be able to take this game, too. Because...
no, I'm pretty sure... another close combat will be able to pick up the knockout in this moment.
Oh, possibly.
But it goes for the Wide Guard instead.
Here we go. And Como-O, it looks like is able to get off the Drain Punch, goes down on Kyle's side, and Matthew is going to take game 2 here in round 1 of the mid-season showdown. Very, very nicely done. A very, very close game there. Kyle definitely played to his advantages and definitely changed things up really, really nicely. We're going to go ahead and transition over to our webcam. Hello, everyone. Sorry for jumping right into that. Like we said, we were kind of rushed for time, or we were late. Let's just be honest. We were late just because of weather and stuff, and so we were trying to get things set up.
a lot down here, but, you know, that happens sometimes.
Yeah, but yeah, Jordan, what do you think about this new 2018 season, now that the fact that the Pokedex is completely opened up?
Oh, it's great. There's a lot of opportunity for new strategies, and I'm pretty sure that the meta is going to be constantly shifting with this large roster.
Absolutely, yeah. The way that it's going to end after a while, or like like you said, the different stages, it's going to be interesting to see, what sticks, what goes away, and what kind of fun shenanigans potentially pop up. But don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back for the start of round 2, so definitely don't go anywhere. And welcome back, Pokemon players, for round 2 of the Midseason Showdown here in Salt Lake City, Utah. And we're going to go ahead and actually just jump right into the battle. So we're going to go ahead and transition on over. And we have Emilio Estrada versus Jonathan Llewellyn here with us today in round 2. As we slowly start setting up, we do want to let everyone know that the top cut, as well as the winner, of course, will be receiving these really awesome customized Utah Pokemon keychains, specified with the VGC season of 2017-2018 with top cut, and of course the champion. We'll show those a little bit later. But as we do see, Emilio does have the team of... Did I swap that? I did. Oops. Well, my apologies, guys. Emilio has the team of Salamence, Tapu Koko, Excadrill, Tyranitar, Hydreigon, and Lando T, while Jonathan has Aegislash, Snorlax, Porygon 2, Tapu Lele, Lando T, and Charizard. My apologies, I mixed them there on the screen. But Jordan, looking at this right now, what pops up in your mind right away?
First off, we don't really have a... Well, actually, I take that back. Jonathan actually has a decent setup to take advantage of Sandstorm from Tyranitar. Granted, the other two Pokemon aren't rocks, so they won't get special defense moves, but they at least also won't be taking chip damage from the Sandstorm with his Landorus and his... Wow. I totally spaced the name of that Pokemon.
Yeah, my apologies, guys. I really messed up the layout here. But it looks like Emilio is going to be on top and Jonathan's going to be on bottom with the Pokemon. Let me quickly give us a second while I quickly fix this while Jordan goes ahead and talk. Emilio does have the Aegislash on his team, while Jonathan does have the Salamence on his team. So that is what we're going to be basing this off of.
Emilio seems to have a pretty slow team. That Porygon 2 is probably going to be doing some Trick Room shenanigans to try and make sure that he can reverse this speed ties, which will be important on Jonathan, because some of his Pokemon, one Pokemon specifically, gets extra speed. One of its abilities allows it to get extra speed under sand. Which means if you reverse the turn order with Trick Room, it means he's going to be the last one to go. Excadrill, that's what it's called.
Excadrill, there you go.
Thank you. I don't know why I forgot that.
Yeah, but Jonathan taking a really nice commanding lead there with getting Excadrill that boost, like you said. Then we do have Porygon and Tapu Lele over on Emilio's side. Kind of common from what we've seen from previous seasons recently with Sun and Moon, and heading into Ultra Sun and Moon with Tapu Lele. You have such a commanding threat. Like, it's almost like it's almost like the new version of Landorus Therian form, which both of them ironically have. With just that, it's just such a good mon for just the right reasons, and it has the perfect coverage for those mons that are popular in the current meta. So it's really interesting to see what's going on here. But do you see ally switch here?
That's a good move, as
Porygon is going to be eating up that Iron Head, and we do see that it's a Life Orb Excadrill, and Tyranitar does go for the Rock Slide here. Very, very cool tech. That is super, super cool to see Emilio use that, as the Porygon is going to go ahead and get up the Trick Room right away, preventing, well, not preventing, but now making that Excadrill
super slow.
Blast. Super slow.
I thought it was interesting that Jonathan didn't try to just burst down the Porygon 2. You know, getting rid of that Trick Room is, you know, absolutely necessary for Jonathan to keep his edge, but he didn't do it. Which, granted, he probably wouldn't have done it anyways, because no one saw Tapu Lele ally switching. You know, I did not expect that at all.
I didn't even know that was a move. I am not going to lie to you. I did not even know that was a move.
Oh, yeah, that's a move, by the way.
Yeah,
and it's very good to disrupt your opponent if done at the right times, as we can
did see there, because that was the perfect move. The fact that Porygon 2 was able to eat up both attacks really, really well, knowing that there was that potential threat coming from that Excadrill. Now we do see the Tapu Koko coming in, changing up the terrain of the field into the Electric Surge. That Sandstorm is still making that Excadrill move at last, but now Porygon, being possibly the slowest thing on the field, goes for the recover, or now the fastest, I should say. We do see the
Z-move's coming out.
The Shattered Psyche coming out from that Tapu Lele. Very, very awesome to see a Z-move pop so early in this round.
We're going to have to see who he's going to be hitting. And he goes for the Excadrill. Getting rid of it now.
Absolutely. As we do see, that does a huge amount of damage, but that Excadrill is actually going to tank it, being able to resist it. And that Iron Head's going to go ahead and connect onto that Tapu Lele, picking up the knockout, which is really good for Jonathan, but that Life Orb damage is going to start to rack up very, very quickly here.
Porygon 2 taking a little bit of Sandstorm damage, as well as Tapu Koko. And Emilio is going to bring out Snorlax. A good choice, given the Trick Room conditions that we
Absolutely,
have.
And we have two extremely bulky mons. Snorlax helping win Worlds last year, being able to, or just very prevalent at Worlds, just in general, just bulking it out with its that Gluttony ability and those Pinch Berries now restoring 50% health. It's just wonderful. It's a wonderful Pokemon, and I'm so happy to see such a old Gen 1 classic.
And I'm pretty sure we're going to see an Earthquake from Snorlax at this point. Both Excadrill and Tapu Koko are weak to Earthquake. And, you know, at this point, that would just be a solid move, you know. Get rid of both of those threats. And if Tapu Koko has anything left, Porygon 2 would probably be able to finish it off.
Absolutely. And if anything, Tapu Koko might be want to go for Protect, or maybe even have Jonathan swap out into something like maybe say the Landorus if it's in the back there. So we do see that Tapu Koko go ahead and swap out, actually out into Salamence, getting that Intimidate off. I'm willing to bet. There we go. That's really nice to see, because now that Snorlax won't be able to do as much damage. Excadrill going for the Protect. Very safe play here for Jonathan. It's going to be interesting to see what Snorlax does. Snorlax actually goes for the high horsepower, while Porygon follows up with the Ice Beam, but unfortunately it's into the Excadrill slot.
So that will end up being a decent round for Jonathan, as he managed to get his Salamence out basically for free. So we'll have to see if the Snorlax is going to try to finish off the Excadrill now, or you know, it probably actually will attempt to finish off the Excadrill, and Porygon 2 will probably go for the Ice Beam on Salamence.
Something really, really interesting that I'm now noticing about Jonathan's team is the fact that he does have that Intimidate core with Salamence and Landorus, which is really, really good. You know, a lot of different VGC users really like that cycling of Intimidate, being able to, because it guarantees that those physical type attackers won't be able to hit as hard. As we do see Salamence go for the Protect here, and the high horsepower will go ahead and knock out that Excadrill, unfortunately. But at least the Salamence is going to be safe for one more turn, probably just trying to stall out those Trick Room turns.
High horsepower is an interesting move, but I think it has its uses. Earthquake is damages everyone on the field, whereas high horsepower will hit a single target, which means that even though Earthquake technically has a little bit more power due to the damage reduction of spread moves in doubles, high horsepower will do more damage to a single target.
Absolutely, and that's really nice thinking. I know I have seen a few Snorlax in the past do that. And just for once again, you know, the wide guards and all that stuff definitely are very tricky. And if you just run, you know, all spread moves, or you just may primarily run Earthquake, it does get a little bit tricky. So it's really good tech as with Emilio. And it looks like Salamence is going to be swapping out into the Tyranitar. Probably to eat up an Ice Beam of some kind from that Porygon 2. I just kind of mind blank there, as we do see high horsepower actually go ahead and connect into the Tapu Koko. Ice Beam following into that Tyranitar, like I said. We'll see how much this actually does, and it does very little.
And now the speed is back to normal.
Speed is back to normal, and the Sandstorm is gone.
Tapu Koko is now the fastest thing on the field. It's going to be dishing out some heavy damage, but both Snorlax and Porygon 2 are pretty well known to be able to take some damage.
But I mean, with that combined threat of Tyranitar being on the field as well, I mean, I'm not sure if Snorlax might be able to, but that Porygon 2, I'm not sure if that's going to be sticking around much longer.
Yeah, he's probably going to be going straight for the Trick Room again in order to try and get the advantage back on his side. But Tyranitar gets close combat, right?
It does not.
No, it doesn't.
I believe it gets superpower, but not close combat, if I'm mistaken.
So,
I know I'm going to be
wrong somewhere. A
powerful
fighting type move from Tyranitar will probably be enough to finish off Porygon 2. So we'll have to see how this plays out.
As we do see the Z move now come out from Jonathan's side of the field. That's going to be that Gigavolt Havoc. And we're still in terrain, aren't we?
Yes,
this is going to hurt.
Still in terrain.
Something's going down here, unfortunately, for Emilio, and we're going to have to... that's the right time to bring it out.
And
it's going to be that Oregon to prevent that trick.
Deleted off the field.
Ooh, as we do see... Oh, and it's a critical hit. That's... Ooh.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think the critical hit mattered, but that's just a way to rub salt in the wound.
We have low kick on Tyranitar. Very, very nice. That must be specific for, like, Snorlax and maybe even Stack Attackas. That's a very, very nice move there. As we now the high horsepower will go ahead and connect, and that Tapu Koko's bulky, it seems. Oh, yeah. No, the Intimidate, that's right.
Yeah, the Intimidate dropped his attack a little bit. Allowed Tapu Koko. Well, I mean, Tapu Koko probably would have survived anyways, as it only did 3/4 of the damage, and only half of its health. So, Aegislash decides to come out and play a powerful Pokemon to deal with both of these, as the Steel-type move is super effective.
Yeah, Emilio has a very, very bulky team, I'm realizing.
Yeah, Trick Room generally tends to be bulky. So that's the downside of being against a Trick Room once they pull it off, because not only are they bulky, all of a sudden they're going first, and you're like, I gotta get rid of these guys.
That's super scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, but bringing Aegislash in is a very, very good move here, just because that Aegislash does handle both of these Pokemon really well, and now there's that double up on that Snorlax, trying to get rid of it as quickly as we can, but Aegislash goes ahead and changes into its Blade form, firing off the Shadow Ball, which that might be a mix set or even just a special set all around, but Tapu Koko is going down for the count.
I was unsure of Shadow Ball being the smartest move, but it wound up working out. And he recycles and gets his health back.
Ooh. That's what I'm saying. That's what's so scary about Snorlax, is you really can't leave it on the field. I mean, yeah, Jonathan, I believe, made the right play trying to double into that Snorlax, but unfortunately, it just is able to bulk it out once again. Bad thing here, though, here is that Snorlax now, I believe, is at a -2 attack.
It's only dealing about half the damage that it normally does with its attack.
So if anything that Snorlax can do right now is bulk it out and just stay on the field, that's what it can do, and hopefully Aegislash will be able to pick up the slack and take out the rest of the Mons here. It's going to be very interesting to see whether or not Emilio does go on the offensive here, or if Jonathan is going to play around that. As we do see Salamence actually go ahead and Mega Evolve. Mega Salamence taking the turn now. In its full croissant form. Don't judge me. Going for the double edge onto that Snorlax. Ooh. We see just how much damage that does, as that low kick does now return, knocking the Snorlax out. I'm not sure if that was necessarily going to be the best play, because I do see the Shadow Ball being able to knock out here after that recoil, and between both.
But at the same time, though, of the two, Tyranitar is more equipped to deal with Aegislash, as it can carry ground moves. And
also just crunch, like just one crunch and Aegislash can be gone. It's just getting that right read now for each player, trying to get that advantage and go on the offensive. We do see Emilio go for the King Shield here, wanting to protect his Aegislash and potentially get that advantage, like I just said, on Jonathan. As we do see that low kick, it looks like it's been going for a low kick consistently. I'm wondering if this Tyranitar is actually choiced into something.
Ooh. If it is, then this is Emilio's game.
Then this is Emilio's game, unfortunately. We'll have to see what happens here. If Jonathan does go for the low kick once again, I think it's choiced into something. As we do see, yep, that Tyranitar's choiced into it.
And probably now, carrying a choice.
If I had to say anything, I would say choice Scott.
Yeah, because if it had a choice band, it would have been doing a little bit more damage.
And Emilio is going to go ahead and pick up the first game here in a very, very close game one. Very, very nicely done by both of these players here. I don't really see where any of them really went wrong, or if there was a misplay. The only thing is possibly at the end, just while it was good locking into low kick for that Snorlax, Jonathan did kind of put himself in a unfortunate bind once that Aegislash came in. And that was what allowed Emilio to take this game 1.
Yeah.
But I mean, all in all, this was a very well balanced game 1 in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if instead of doubling into Snorlax, if he had tried to go for the Aegislash with both the Tapu Koko and the Salamence, he might have been okay. But it just wound up not working out for him.
Yeah, unfortunately so. But all in all, I mean, as far as the other Pokemon on each person's team that might be able to do something, I mean, Emilio was able to really take wonderful advantage of that Trick Room. That Ally Switch at the very beginning of the game was crucial. But now that Jonathan's seen that, will Emilio switch it up? Potentially even bring the, say, the Charizard or the Landorus for more speed control once Trick Room ends, or is Jonathan going to bring some different mons to kind of counteract Trick Room? Maybe something, maybe not even bring Sand at all, and let Excadrill kind of sit there without that Sand boost, or even Hydreigon, bring that in for
I actually
some attack.
Could see Hydreigon. A Flamethrower from a choice spec Hydreigon hurts. And having that as a way to deal with Aegislash would be a smart move, I feel.
Yeah, the only big thing that is preventing, I'm willing to bet Jonathan from locking in that choice is the fact that Tapu Lele is there on Emilio's side of on Emilio's team. But however, at the same time, Jonathan really does have the best, really good counters for that, being the Tapu Koko changing up the terrain, or even the Excadrill eating up the hits from Tapu Lele. As we did see, that Shattered Psyche did very little to the Excadrill, and as strong as Excadrill is, I can't say that word today, with that Life Orb, that Iron Head will do massive damage if not even just pick up the knockout right away. So it's going to be interesting to see how both of these players adjust as we do walk into Game 2 here. Best of luck to both of these players as always. We do see some things are loading in. We do see Jonathan go ahead and just lead in that Tyranitar Excadrill lead again, and Emilio leading Tapu Lele and Porygon 2. So now the mind games really begin here, Jordan.
Is the Ally switch going to happen?
Is it coming? Is it not? Am I going to get up the Trick Room this turn? Should I wait? There's a really big play here. And we do see that download get the special attack boost on that Porygon 2, which is really nice. So you do see that it does carry Ice Beam. So is the Ally Switch coming, Jordan? Call it right now.
No.
No?
He's not going to. He's going to anticipate that Jonathan is going to anticipate it. There's going to be a double layer of reading. But what if there's
a triple anticipation? Anticipate.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen.
I'm there with you.
Yeah. Jonathan's expecting it to happen, so he's going to try and play on it happening, and instead Emilio's not going to do it. Instead, probably just go straight for the Z move, just to chunk out Excadrill.
So we do see Tapu Lele go for the Protect here. There is no Ally Switch, and we see the Excadrill go for the Rock Slide, just wanting to get the whole spread going and even get a flinch to prevent that Porygon 2. We see how little damage that does, but is there going to be a flinch? With Tyranitar double Rock Slide, so now can this Porygon 2...
If you're going to switch things around, I'm just going to hit everyone.
Exactly. Is this Porygon 2 going to get through? And it does! Oh!
The Rock Slide has a 30% chance to make someone flinch.
So each of those times there was a 30% chance, but unfortunately it did not work for Jonathan. Very nice trick to get around that Ally Switch, but the Trick Room is up once again, and with that Porygon 2 at a +1 special attack boost, this is going to be very challenging for Jonathan to get around.
I'm pretty sure Tapu Lele is going to pull back, because Excadrill was able to take that Z move very handily.
But at the same time, that Tapu Lele can definitely just fire off a Fairy-type move into that Tyranitar slot if it wants to, because not a lot of things want to come in. I mean, the Tapu Koko might be able to eat a hit. Hydreigon really doesn't want it. Landorus probably doesn't want to take it. Salamence doesn't want to take it. And it looks like we do see that Tapu Koko coming in here right now to change up the terrain once again.
We're seeing things kind of go in a similar vein. Excadrill going for Protect, anticipating the Z move.
We do see that Ice Beam go ahead and connect into that Excadrill slot, and once again, the Shattered Psyche comes out from...
I bet they're getting Tapu Koko this time, though. He's anticipating the switch.
Yeah, I feel like Emilio did make that read. I'm there with you on that one, Jordan. As we do see that Shattered Psyche come out from this Tapu Lele, and it is going to be targeting... Oh no, it is the Excadrill, so...
He was just trying to double target into it to get rid of it. So now it did hardly any damage. Hardly any damage. Now Excadrill is sitting there pretty nicely, as long as they can live just one more really nice hit from Porygon, which I don't think it can, but if it's able to get around that Ice Beam somehow... I mean, Ice Beam is neutral on Excadrill. I'm pretty sure Steel resists Ice. So, it can take at least one.
Even with that +1 special attack
I think
boost?
so. I think so. But we'll have to see.
We definitely will have to see. As we do see that Excadrill go ahead and swap out, wanting to save it for a later day, and in comes Tyranitar. Looks like Tapu Koko's going to be going for the Protect here. And Porygon 2 is just going to go ahead and get the Recover off. Emilio wanting to preserve Porygon for as long as it can, and not wanting to take a Gigavolt Havoc like it did last game.
Things are still looking pretty decent for Emilio. I mean, Jonathan didn't get his Excadrill removed like the way it did last game, but it's, you know, Porygon 2 topped off like that. It's, he's going to be able to reset Trick Room probably at least one more time if he can keep that Porygon 2 healthy. So now it's a question of who is Tapu Lele going to attack? Going to be a Moonblast and Tyranitar? Is Tyranitar going to swap out? Is he going to go for Moonblast on Tapu Koko instead? Interesting choices.
Yeah, this is a very, very tricky turn for Jonathan, as he did protect with that Tapu Koko as well. So the offense here is, well, I mean, yeah, the advantage right now is Emilio just because that Trick Room is up. But now it's just like that mind game is there going to be a double protect? Is there going to be a swap?
I would actually double attack into Tapu Koko if I were Emilio. Prevent the Z move from happening. Instead, swaps out Tapu Koko for Excadrill.
We do see Porygon 2 go for the Ice Beam. Is this going to be the right read onto that Excadrill? And we see that does really, really good damage, bringing it down to about 30%. And the Moonblast follows up. Is it enough? Oh!
Excadrill survives.
And that Assurance is going to come off onto that Tapu Lele. And we see just how much damage that does. The fact that that Excadrill did live for one more, is alive for one more turn is very, very crucial for Jonathan, because as soon as that Trick Room is up and that Tyranitar can reset that Sand, it's gonna be a heyday for Excadrill, without a doubt.
Protect on Excadrill this turn, to where I'm pretty sure this is the last turn of Trick Room. Excadrill is gonna protect Tyranitar, as it still has the same move, is either gonna swap or just go for Tapu Lele again. And Emilio is probably going to anticipate the Protect on Excadrill and just double into Tyranitar. Moonblast will get rid of it, and if it doesn't get rid of it, Ice Beam will finish it off. So it's really a question of, does Emilio think that things are going to go his way?
And we do see that Ice Beam go ahead and actually just go ahead and knock out that Excadrill.
I don't know if not protecting there would be the smartest.
And we do see that Moonblast now connect into that Tyranitar. You see that does over 50% to this Tyranitar, but it's going to fight back with the Assurance. Still, and the Sandstorm subsides. Ooh, if that Sandstorm was up for one more turn, the Tapu Lele would have been gone.
At the same time, though, now the Trick Room is also gone, which means that Tyranitar is going to be going before both of them.
Absolutely.
And Tapu Koko returns back to the field. Porygon 2 has to protect now if it wants to survive. The Z move is coming.
It's either, yeah, but at the same time, there is that ally switch.
That's true. That's true. And a Z move into a 4 HP Tapu Lele is an absolute waste.
Would be a wonderful waste for Emilio. And give Emilio the advantage to, I feel, pick up the rest of this game here.
Or is he going to anticipate the ally? See, the mind games of the ally.
Yeah, the anticipation of the anticipation of the anticipation. But we do see the Z move go ahead and go off.
And there was no protect before, so I'm pretty sure Porygon 2 is going to be erased off of the board.
But did did Jonathan overpredict here? That's the thing. Did Jonathan overpredict?
Actually, Tapu Koko would have gone first. Does Ally Switch have priority?
Like I said, I didn't know it existed until today, so I don't know. It might.
Oh, Porygon 2 survived. Oh my goodness.
And with that Scarf Tyranitar going for that assurance, it's going to follow up and going to pick up the knockout.
Yeah. There we go. But Moonblast is going to also pick up a knockout here.
So it's a good trade in my opinion, just because now I believe does Jonathan just have the Tapu Koko left?
No, I think he's got one more.
He does have one more.
But he can't reset the terrain anymore.
Unfortunately so, and Emilio does still have 2 fresh Pokemon in the back as well, so it's almost actually even. It's pretty even right now. But we do see Salamence go ahead and come in onto the field, and Aegislash make its way back onto the field. And the Intimidate, unfortunately, does go off onto that Aegislash slot.
Well, Aegislash was mostly using Shadow Ball, so I think it'll be okay.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But now both of Jonathan's Pokemon are healthy, and so Aegislash isn't going to be able to be picking up any KOs by itself, at least this turn. So Tapu Lele probably going to be taking a Thunderbolt from Tapu Koko.
We do see Salamence actually go ahead and Mega Evolve once again.
Yeah, the Tapu Lele isn't going to be sticking around for much longer.
We do see Aegislash go for the Wide Guard. Very, very nice. Tapu Koko go for the Thunderbolt onto that Aegislash, eating it up all day. But the paralysis.
Paralyzed. That's unfortunate. And the Hyper Voice gets blocked.
So there we go. Tapu Lele is going to be around for one more turn, and I see a wonderful Moonblast coming out, which we do. Going into the Salamence slot there.
Oh boy! And
there's the knockout right there. That's the right play.
That was a good play on Emilio's side. Reading the Hyper Voice. I totally forgot that Aegislash does the whole Wide Guard thing. So I was just like, oh yeah, it'll be a Hyper Voice to pick up the knockout on Lele, and Tapu Koko Thunderbolting into Aegislash.
And now it's Tapu Koko versus the world, Jordan. And I don't know how Jonathan is going to be able to recover here. That unfortunate factor at the beginning where he did not get the flinch on that double rock side was very, very bad for him to start things off. But other than that, Jonathan definitely tried to play his best here as we see him go ahead and pick up the knockout on that Tapu Lele. Probably wanting to bank on that paralysis. Which I
think it still goes for the animation.
But it does go for the Shadow Ball.
It's going to do a decent amount of damage.
A good chunk of damage. It's going to go ahead and pick up the knockout.
Never mind. That was a straight up knockout.
And Emilio goes ahead and picks up the 2-0 victory over Jonathan. Very, very close games both these times around. It could have honestly gone either way, just over a couple of turns. And that's what
Emilio just managed to get the edge with that Trick Room. If he hadn't been able to get the Trick Room off, I'm pretty sure Jonathan would have been able to just clean things up.
Absolutely, absolutely, Bo. But a wonderful job to Emilio as he does advance, further along in this tournament. Jonathan played wonderfully. There was nothing bad about his playing, in my opinion, that I saw. But just unfortunately, just a couple of bad rolls and just RNG unfortunately did cost him the round there. But like I said before, when we came back. For our contenders here at the top cut, they are going to be receiving these wonderful. Let's see if I can get this in focus. Wonderful Utah Pokemon keychains that at the bottom say 2017-2018 VGC season, and then that's for top cut. And then of course the winner, the champion of our mid-season showdown, is going to be receiving the nice gold-looking Utah Pokemon keychain, which is super, super nice. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back with round 3. So see you then. And welcome back, Pokemon players, for round 3 of our Midseason Showdown here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm Brendan Benavides, and joining me, of course, is Jordan Henley.
Alola.
We are going to be jumping right into Game 3 here. I'm going to go ahead and transition on over as we have Kyle Gordon versus Sam Turner. And I'm enjoying Kyle's team for one reason and one reason only, but Sam's team makes me super, super excited as they are going to go ahead and set up. We're going to go ahead and kind of talk about their teams like we always do. And let you guys know our thoughts. So on Kyle's side of the team, and by the way, Jordan, everything is set up right this time, I promise.
Good.
Kyle has Formosa Blacephalon, which I am super excited about. Charizard, Tapu Lele, Lando T, and Aegislash. Once again, if you are joining us, I do not have the sprite for Landorus Therian form. My apologies. Hopefully in the future that'll be different.
On Sam's side, we have Suicune, Tapu Koko, Ferrothorn, Kangaskhan, Volcarona, and another Landorus.
Landorus Therian, yes. My apologies.
So this is an interesting setup. The only overlap Pokemon is Landorus,
obviously.
And yeah, Landorus is one of those Pokemon that is very, very versatile and very powerful as well. So a lot of people choose to run it.
And then I'm sure if you guys saw that, but on Cal decided to name it the box where his team is Boom because of the Blacephalon, and I'm liking that so much. The fact that he has both the Charizard, potentially a Charizard Y to set up the Sun, and then with Mind Blown.
That's gonna do a lot.
Like
of damage.
if he specs that Blacephalon, that's gonna do a huge amount of damage, regardless of who you go up against. I feel.
Yeah, that's
Sun boosted specs Blacephalon.
I want to see what happens, because that's a very powerful thing to keep in mind. At the same time, though, Volcarona is going to be one of the Pokemon that's going to be very happy that Sun is in play.
Absolutely, and then of course we'll see the potential return of a Mega Kangaskhan. Ferrothorn, of course, is so awesome to see. Suicune, I loved Suicune back in the day. Let me tell you what. So the fact that it is such a bulky water type, it's able to go for like Icy Winds, Ice Beam, Scalds, and even set up Tailwind. It's a very versatile Pokemon. The only thing that it does kind of lack on is that recovery side of things, whereas a lot of Chesto Berry set, Resto Chesto sets are very common on Suicunes, especially if I'm not mistaken in a lot of VGC meta. But as we are jumping into Game 1 of Round 3, we want to remind everyone that we are halfway through our Swiss rounds, going into the top cut, so we'll be here for a little bit longer. But as we're slowly clocking down that time, Sam goes ahead and locks in, and Kyle follows right after. So best of luck to both of these trainers, and we'll see what happens here, Jordan. You're liking the music there, aren't you?
Just a little bit.
You guys can't say, but Jordan's dancing. As we do see Blacephalon and Charizard make their opening. Ooh, I'm so excited. My hands are rubbing together. And Kangaskhan and Suicune followed as well.
Ooh, that's going to make things difficult if Blacephalon gets bursted down from a fake out and then Suicune just hitting it with something strong. That'll be unfortunate. I want to see it pull stuff. I want to see it do stuff.
Oh my goodness, so much amazing tech that could possibly happen. I'm just so excited.
It depends on who Sam fakes out, because if Blacephalon has a choice specs, he's not going to be able to protect and prevent the fake out. And so, that's a good opening by Sam, but Kyle's got a strong presence with all this fire.
Absolutely, and even once this Charizard is going, we do find out it's going to be that Charizard Y, setting up that Sun and now lowering the attacking moves of all water type attacks. This is going to be a turn. This is going to be a good first turn. I can feel it.
Sunlight comes out. Kangaskhan goes for the fake out,
and it is going to go onto that Blacephalon. Ooh, look how much that did!
Ooh, ouch! Oh,
Charizard's going to go for the Tailwind.
And Suicune also goes for the Tailwind. That's probably why he didn't protect with the Charizard, because he knew he would have gone for the Blacephalon.
Absolutely.
And since Blacephalon couldn't protect itself, this is a good indication of the fact that it's carrying choice specs, with both Tailwind and the fact that it didn't protect.
Choice specs or choice Scarf.
This is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt.
No, this is gonna be scary. This is scary right now.
Cool. Blacephalon.
Like, we can't even talk. Like, we're just so excited to see something new and something fun. But
I personally haven't really seen Blacephalon in action.
Blacephalon is powerful, let me tell you what. But Blacephalon's actually going to swap out. No, come back. But we do see Tapu Lele go ahead and come on in, setting up that Psychic Surge to prevent any more shenanigans like Sucker Punch on that Kangaskhan. As we do see now, that Kangaskhan is going to go ahead and
make it interesting that it didn't previously.
Because it wanted Scrappy to fake out the Blacephalon.
Oh, that's correct. I forgot the Blacephalon is part ghost, and wouldn't have been able to fake out of it.
And wonderfully done there on Kyle's side, stopping that Sucker Punch as the overheat goes off, connects onto the Kangaskhan, and gets the knockout right away. That sun-boosted overheat does huge amounts of damage, and that Kangaskhan is no longer going to be troubling anyone anymore, as the Snarl now connects onto both of these Pokemon, lowering their special attack by 1 stage. So now that Charizard's at -3.
It's true. That Charizard's probably going to swap out. Maybe for Blacephalon again, but that's kind of risky with the fact that it took damage already.
Absolutely, and with it being a dark-type attack, Snarl, it won't be able to live the hit. But here now comes a Volcarona, like you said, will also love the sun as well.
Single Quiver Dance is all it needs. Single Quiver Dance is all it needs, and then it's going to start Wrecking Shot.
Which we've seen many times before in previous tournaments.
And the fact that the Snarl has dropped both their special attack, I'm pretty sure Volcarona is going to be able to stick around this turn. You know,
unless there's some weird shenanigans in this Charizard's carry,
I don't
like,
even
say,
think
Rock Slide.
I don't even think a Shattered Psyche is going to be able to remove Volcarona from the field at this point. You know, with the single drop and special attack, I think will be just enough.
As well as it being Bug type as well. It's gonna be a very interesting turn.
I mean, losing Mega Kangaskhan hurt for Sam, but like, this Volcarona is going to be able to do work.
But we do see that Blacephalon go ahead and come back in on the field. Very risky here as the Volcarona goes for the Flamethrower, connecting onto that Tapu Lele, getting that Sun Boost, taking a huge amount of damage. Oh, and it gets the burn as well. And
not enough to knock out.
Tapu Lele going for the taunt to prevent it from going for that Quiver Dance. And Snarl now does connect. Will this Blacephalon be able to live? Oh, and it does! But it does drop that special attack by 1 stage, but I don't think that's going to matter with this next turn and this huge hit's coming off.
Oh my goodness, Tapu Lele is still around.
Just slipped on
it's
a wall.
Still around. Ooh.
Very tricky. Very tricky indeed.
Yeah. Tapu Lele...
Last turn Z move?
Maybe. Depends on if it's actually carrying the crystal or not. So...
and then what is this Blacephalon going to do? Kyle's kind of backed into a corner. Both of his Mons are really weakened here. And that Suicune, like I said, Suicune's just so much fun to use, and it brings me back to when I first really started in VGC. It was just a commanding threat, and it's just got better over time. You do see Volcarona go ahead and withdraw. It's going to go straight into that Landorus.
I'm pretty sure the Landorus is going to be deleted from Blacephalon. Like, Blacephalon's going to explode, and that Landorus is going to go bye-bye.
You do see Blacephalon actually go for this Heat Wave. Suicune actually is able to evade it. And we'll see just how much this does. It does over 50%, followed up by the Psychic now onto that Suicune. With that -1. It still does upwards of 40% afterwards. Now that burn does take out that Tapu Lele, unfortunately. And the Snarl's going to come out, and it is going to pick up the double knockout here on Blacephalon now. And we're just left with Charizard. And I believe there is another Mon? Yes, there is another Mon, okay.
This means that the Sun probably has 1 turn left. And the Charizard Y isn't going to be able to reset by swapping.
And it looks like it's going to be the Pheromosa, so Kyle bringing both of those Ultra Beasts this time around. Charizard can also battle damage with its wings and stuff, but still a very scary and commanding presence. But with that Pheromosa there, after that Landorus took that heavy hit, I think Pheromosa will be able to get up the knockout on it.
I see a Heat Wave from Charizard. That will probably be able to pick up the knockout on Landorus, provided it moves before Landorus. Otherwise, Landorus is going to remove Charizard with a Rock Slide. So it depends on if this is a Scarf Landorus or not. If it's a Choice Scarf Landorus, then...
Either that or even a Jolly Set, I think, will be able to barely outspeed it by 1.
But said the Ice Beam, not taking any chances.
Okay, whoa. Did we just see a Pheromosa go for a special attack?
Yeah, it's got equal stats for both attacks.
Does it really?
Special attack. Yeah.
That's very interesting. We do see the attack raise on it, so that is a mixed Pheromosa. That's very cool tech. We do see that Solar Beam now connect onto that Suicune. It's going to be able to do a lot of damage and pick up the knockout.
Taking advantage of that last turn of Sun. Ooh, now Sam has Volcarona.
Volcarona versus the world, but
The Volcarona can take some damage. At the same time, though, Pheromosa with the Beast Boost is gonna hit hard. I don't know if Volcarona is gonna be sticking around much longer. Ooh,
that was a turn.
This is Kyle's game, but Sam might be able to get lucky. Maybe.
I honestly don't know what to say here. As we do see Puts and Jab now connect onto that Volcarona. We'll see how much that does. We do see it does over about 60% or so.
Yeah.
Quiver Dance does go up. Will this Charizard be able to do something here? He goes for the overheat, just going all out, getting that huge attack off, and Volcarona's gonna go down. So Kyle,
Game 1 goes to Kyle.
very, very awesome game 1 here, in my opinion. Here, just because there was so much new stuff going on, so much stuff we wanted to see, so much potential, and all in all, the fact that I've primarily, at least for me, I've only seen Pheromosa only use physical attacking moves. So the fact that I saw Pheromosa go for Ice Beam, that was cool.
It's a good coverage move because Landorus is really common.
There.
Salamence is pretty common. So having that as a coverage move,
so just
there's a lot of
or I'm gonna
things
Ice
weak
Beam.
to ice.
That's what I'm gonna do. But
I just wish Blacephalon was able to do a little more, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you want to see the most out of these new mons that come out with each and every game.
Yeah.
Of course, this time being Blacephalon, Stack Attack, that Gonadel, I believe, is allowed in this season, and it's just like there's so much potential there and so much fun that could happen, especially with older mons, of course, and it's like you just want to see that. But we're now in the team preview for game 2 of round 3. Something Sam might be able to want to turn around is because that Sun is so prevalent. I mean, obviously we're probably not going to see Ferrothorn, but even trying to set up that Volcarona a lot sooner. We did see how much it can take depending on who Kyle decides to start off with. And at the same time, that Kangaskhan being one-shotted at the very, very beginning, I think was very hurt Sam a lot, because that Kangaskhan would have been able to put in a lot of work for the time that it could have been on the field, but unfortunately it was not. And that Suicune, well, the Snarl, I do understand the point of Snarl to lower the special attack of your opponent's Pokemon, but if there's a chance to go for a Scald, I mean, I would go for the Scald, even if it is in the sun.
I don't know, at the same time, because you can't burn the fire types, and Scald doesn't do very much damage under Sun, you know?
Yes.
With that situation, I think Snarl was the better of the two options. At 30% for burn sometimes just isn't reliable enough, you know? So you got to go for what's a little more consistent.
Want to know what would be really cool is if they ever had Scald, they change it to where Scald has an upped chance of burning in the sun. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
I would like to see that. People scalding in the sun, but we do see Tapu Lele and Pheromosa on Kyle's side of the field as Sam goes ahead and leads Landorus, Tapu Koko.
We've definitely got things mixed up for this game 2 of round 3.
Definitely both trainers wanting to players, I should say, switching stuff up. Very interesting to see the Pheromosa make such an early appearance, considering it was what won Kyle the game last time around. So,
but it's good glass cannon. You can burst things down pretty handily. And now we know that it threatens Ice Beam on Landorus here.
Absolutely.
So that's a mind game right there. I'm pretty sure it's going to go before Tapu Koko. So.
Oh yeah, Pheromosa is extremely fast, if I'm not mistaken.
I would have almost just gone for Poison Jab on the Tapu Koko. Landorus is probably going to protect or swap with that Ice Beam. Yeah. Here's the swap.
Straight into that Suicune to eat up any ice beams, of course. But that's going to give Cal an awesome opportunity to wear down the Suicune extremely fast, as Pheromosa does go for that Ice Beam.
Yep, and Suicune eats it for breakfast.
Oh my goodness! What has been going on with the hacks this time? We've seen a Thunderbolt paralysis, we've seen a Flamethrower burn, and now we see an Ice Beam freeze.
Ooh.
And Pheromosa living on the one after that spread attack.
Well,
on top of Coco.
it did have a focus sash.
It did.
Yeah. So otherwise, it would have just been erased completely. Gone.
Tapu Lele being able to pick up the knockout on that Coco, but what a turn one! Look at them ribbons floating in the air, just frozen.
Oh boy, this is not good for Sam.
What just happened?
This is not good for Sam.
What just happened?
This is not good for Sam. He's gonna have to fake out the Pheromosa if he wants this Kangaskhan to survive. Fighting type move from Pheromosa is gonna hurt.
Absolutely. And then that's just going to give Tapu Lele an opportunity to go for like a Shattered Psyche or even a huge Moonblast on Kangaskhan or go for the Psychic in the terrain. I don't. This is that was such a unfortunate turn one for Sam.
I wonder if do you know if Scald removes ice?
It should.
So if Suicune goes for a Scald, then this Frozen isn't going to matter so much.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I know Scald 100% does, and there's a very few select fire moves that remove the freeze as well.
There's a Mega Kangaskhan coming out to play.
Getting ready.
And here's the fake out. Oh, no fake out.
For the low kick, doing a huge amount of damage and double edge onto from the Kangaskhan. Wanting to knock out that Tapu Lele quickly, and we do see it does get the knockout right then and there. However, I think this recoil is going to take... Oh, no, it lived!
It survives. And Scald melts the ice, and it manages to get the knockout on Pheromosa.
That was very, very risky, not going for that fake out on that Pheromosa.
that was terribly risky. But he was probably aware that he would be able to survive a low kick.
That, as well as the fact that Kangaskhan was able to knock out that Tapu Lele with only one of its attack being double edges and didn't take that double recoil. It was very, very nice. But we do see the combo of Charizard and Blacephalon make its way back onto the field here. It's gonna be interesting. This is interesting, Jordan.
I was expecting him, once he didn't open with it, I was expecting him to, have something else in the back, but no, we see it come back out again. Hopefully Blacephalon can be awesome this time around.
Dude, I don't... Cal's sitting in a really good spot. That's the thing. The fact we've seen the Solar Beam, which we know will do a huge amount of damage onto that Suicune, especially once the sun is up. They both have Tailwind, so they can potentially fight each other that way. Blacephalon, we know it's going to be hitting hard, and at the same time, Kangaskhan can't go for Sucker Punch right now still.
Yep, the Psychic Brain is still up.
So Kyle definitely has the advantage here. We do see the Drought go ahead and pop off, making the sun all bright and shiny. I mean, I think Blacephalon's just going to lose its head over it. As we do see Mind Blow go and attack, and it's the spread move, doing a huge amount of damage, knocking that Suicune, I think, into Solar Beam range for Charizard to pick up the knockout here. Getting the Beast Boost now onto the special attack. The Solar Beam comes up. Oh, that's a wonderful play by Kyle, and I think he actually has that, because now with Blacephalon having that Beast Boost now, Sam's down to...
Blacephalon uses, is Blacephalon actually...
What's troubling you?
Do you know if the game will register it as defeat to Kyle if Blacephalon kills itself with Mind Blow?
I believe it's whoever Pokemon faints first. So because
Mind Blown is going to get rid of Charizard. There's no question. Charizard is going to die. Landorus is going to die, especially after the Beast Boost.
Yeah, Kyle will still pick up the knockout just because that battle damage, that battle recoil
never
damage.
mind. Charizard goes for Protect. Kyle wins.
But to get back to that, I believe what you're thinking of there is the battle damage that goes off from Mind Blown. The recoil damage goes after the battle damage goes first, and so... Oh, wait, maybe not. I don't know. That's very interesting.
Because I know if you use Self-Destruct or Explode, or Explosion, I think it is, you will lose, because your Pokemon faints first, technically. It will give the win.
Then if that's the case, then Mind Blown should be able to do the exact same. But wonderful job to Kyle, having a very commanding presence there in Game 2. He made the right calls in that game, and we saw Blacephalon blow our minds as well.
Oh yeah, I think it was good to have that in the back instead, as a way to,
a good closer, a very good closer. But let's just talk about that turn one though. because what happened there? Holy cow! So, so the Suicune came in. The Ice Beam went off. It freezes the Suicune. Tapu Koko gets off a huge attack on everything else with the Dazzling Gleam. Knocks the Pheromosa down to Sash. Tapu Lele fires back, knocks out the Tapu Koko. In your opinion, did that matter, losing Tapu Koko that turn 1?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Because it could have easily handled and outsped the Charizard. But at the same time, Blacephalon could have outsped potentially. I don't know. That whole turn 1 was crazy. The fact that the Suicune was frozen and things were falling left and right was nuts. But all in all, to see such an awesome game, round 3 just only proves that the longer we move on higher, further on, the better battles we'll have. And so, awesome job to Kyle. Hopefully, Sam has a good rest of the tournament. But don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back with round 4. So don't go anywhere. And welcome back, Pokemon players. I am Brendan Benavides, and joining me, of course, is Jordan Henley.
Hello.
Welcome back to the last Swiss round for the Midseason Showdown here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, we have a very, very fun, exciting match for you guys, as we are going to be looking at Parker Lish and Austin Jeffs, I believe. And this is a bubble match, Jordan. So the loser is not going to be making top cut, and the winner goes on to top cut. And looking at these teams, we're going to go ahead and transition over because both players are about ready here. These teams are something else, if you ask me.
They've got some pretty neat stuff. They're still loading in to connect with each other, but as we have their teams on display on the stream, on the left here we have Parker Lish with Tapu Koko, Heatran, Cresselia, Snorlax, Landorus, and Salamence.
Well, Austin has Tapu Fini, Terrakion, Scrafty, Scizor, Whimsicott, and Manectric. First off, I'm enjoying Parker's team. It's a really cool callback to see both Heatran and Cresselia there. Of course, we've seen Koko, Snorlax, Landorus, and Salamence put in work today. But Austin's team, what's going on? What's going on here?
First off, we have the two possible Megas with both Scizor and Manectric. Manectric is more likely to be the Mega, as Scizor can stand a little more on its own without Mega evolving. But at the same time, it still could be either or, you know. There's still that guesswork.
You got potential Tailwind, Prankster shenanigans with Whimsicott. You have Scrafty that can be super, super bulky that we have seen in the past. I think it was, VGC 2016, 2015? That was really popular. It's been a while since I've seen that, but Terrakion. Let me tell you something. You know how I feel about Terrakion. I love Terrakion here, Jordan.
Yeah, Austin's team, except for Tapu Fini, is pretty much a callback to earlier VGCs. Whereas Parker's going all out with the mixture here.
And so, like, to see this, I just can't wait. And Parker's promised us a fun match personally, so hopefully he holds up on his end. But as always, you know, best of luck to both of these trainers. They are fighting for that top cut spot, and you know the pressure does have to kind of build up for sure.
I'm excited for Whimsicott. It's such a disruptive Pokemon with Taunt and Encore with both Prankster. The only reason why I know
that you love this Pokemon, you love Whimsicott so much, is because I remember when we've had our battles and you used Whimsicott and I didn't touch it at all, and you hurt me.
I'm like, nope, you're shut down. You're shut down. Let's steamroll the rest of you.
Both these players are locked in, we'll have to see what happens for these leads, and hopefully the right calls are made here for both of them. As we do see Heatran and Tapu Koko open up over on Parker's side of the field, Austin is going to go ahead and lead off with the Manectric and the Tapu Fini. Ooh, nice and shiny Manectric too. As we do see that Electric Surge go ahead and pop off on the field, but definitely immediately being switched over to that Misty Surge. But all in all, really, really cool lead for Austin, because now Tapu Koko won't be able to go for that Thunderbolt right away or any electric type moves if Manectric does want to stay in its singular form. Heatran has a wonderful advantage on the Tapu Fini, as well as Manectric with the Earth Power heading that to the Manectric. But at the same time,
do you know if Mega Manectric is faster than Tapu Koko or not?
If I recall correctly, Mega Manectric's speed is
I guess we found out. It's not. Well, actually...
Well, he did Mega Evolve.
He didn't Mega Evolve. Instead goes for a Light Screen.
Interesting. The tech. We do see the Flash Cannon now go off and connect right into that Tapu Fini. That extra boost to the defense is going to be really, really nice. As we do see Tapu Fini go for the Calm Mind. So Parker's being really risky here, setting up the Calm Mind, but the fact that this Manectric here just set up a light screen. Tech. It's very, very interesting tech for sure.
I've never seen a Manectric put up a light screen.
Okay, I work with electric types all the time. I didn't even know Manectric got a light screen. That's so weird.
But it's good. it's a good way to throw people off with having unusual things like that.
Absolutely.
Clearly it's working as he's here battling for one of the top positions in this match.
As we do see Tapu Koko go ahead and swap out. Cresselia makes its appearance onto the field. Heatran is going to go for the Protect, as I believe we will see Manectric go ahead and actually Volt Switch out. Does a little bit of chip damage to that Cresselia. And we're going to go ahead and see Austin go ahead and switch into, I would say, the Terrakion. This would be an awesome opportunity for it to come in, or even the Scrafty. Yep, there we go.
Scrafty comes out, also shiny. Got his green pants going. Intimidate goes off. That's not going to matter so much. Both of these Pokemon tend to be specially oriented. And their special attack.
After that +1 special attack, that thing is going to go for that Scald, and that's going to do a good amount of damage to that Cresselia.
Comparatively, I mean, that wasn't a whole lot of damage, but Cresselia is so bulky that
it's very, very bulky. But having the Scrafty in, though, is going to be very, very helpful for Austin, though. The Cresselia doesn't want to take a knockoff, and the Heatran doesn't want to take like a high jump kick or like a brick break or some fighting type in close combat. If Scrafty gets it, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, or even I think it gets Drain Punch too.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. It's like I know there's some kind of fighting move there. But Heatran's going to go ahead and swap out there. Looks like he's going to go right into the Salamence to get off the Intimidate off against the Scrafty now.
It's a good move to lower Scrafty's attack power. Finny isn't going to care so much, but goes for the Fake Out onto the Cresselia.
Possibly preventing any heals or anything like that, as the Scald goes off, connects into the Salamence, and of course, because of that Misty Surge being up on the field, no burn is allowed.
Which actually hurts Austin a little more than it helps at this point. But, you know, that Scald definitely would have hurt that Heatran quite a bit. I think Heatran probably would have survived one. It's a little bit of both your Pokemon, but, you know, it would have been really close.
Now Manectric goes ahead and swaps right back in as we see Salamence go ahead and activating its Mega Stone. Mega Salamence is coming out to play right again as it's tucking in its arms right here. Boom, boom. Just right there.
Probably going to see a Hyper Voice come off.
Tapu Fini goes for
the attack. Oh, Double Edge instead.
Ooh, right into the Fini slot. Really good read there by Austin.
So the Icy Wind go off, which if this Manectric Mega evolves, that's going to hurt because it's, you know, right there on the tip of a really fast speed. So having even one drop, I'm pretty sure the Salamence is going to be faster now. This is, of course, assuming Manectric Mega evolves. He could just pull something else out.
I know, it could honestly just like not Mega evolve at all.
After seeing that light screen, it's like, what is this Manectric going to do? You
Exactly.
have no idea. You have no idea. So, it's very, very interesting. I don't know if the Tapu Fini is going to be sticking around, though. With Salamence going first over Mega Manectric, if it chooses to Mega Evolve, it's going to be able to Double Edge. So, we do see Fini swap out for Scrafty.
I'm getting another Intimidate off.
A good choice. Good choice.
And if this Manectric Mega evolves... Nope, which we do not see.
Oh no, there's a swap. We still have room for Mega Evolution.
That would be a double Intimidate. As we do see it, there's the double Intimidate.
And I didn't realize how much I liked Shiny Manectric's color scheme.
Right? But there's that double Intimidate. Now that Mega Salamence is at a -2 physical attack, and is Double Edge, while it is going to be super effective on this Scrafty, we're going to see that
it will survive.
It will survive. And Manectric's going to go ahead and go for the Volt Switch on that Salamence now. And, looks like that Salamence barely going to hold on there.
But a Fake Out from the Scrafty should be enough to pick up the knockout if he doesn't protect.
Absolutely. And then there's also the potential for Heatran being hurt as well. So is Parker going to have to make some risky switches here, or is he going to let one of his Pokemon down go? So we do see the light screen and the terrain go ahead and wear off.
That means that the Hyper Voice now is a much more viable option, and Heatran now is no longer inhibited from the light screen. He's going to be able to dish out some damage. Interesting plays on Austin, but I don't know if they're going to be enough to cut it, in my opinion. Parker Stylewans is going to be able to do a lot of cleanup here. And I don't know if another swap is going to be a good option. He's going to take a lot of damage. Possibly too much to justify. So if I were Parker, I would just go all out. Doesn't matter what Austin's going to do, just go all out. Oh, instead swaps out for Tapu Koko. Get out that electric surge.
And now we do see that Scrafty go ahead and swap out for the Manectric here. Very, very nicely done. Because if going back to what you said earlier, I do believe Mega Manectric at full speed does outspeed Tapu Koko. I think it's like, it's right around the range of Jolteon. It's either 130 or 135. If I recall.
And Tapu Fini is... Oh! Tapu Fini survives and gets to eat its berry. Oh.
That is just very unfortunate. That had to be a damage roll of some kind, as this call now goes off and connects into that Heat Train, and the Heat Train gets knocked out instead with a crit. Oh.
Ooh, the luck is on Austin's side for that turn.
Oh, that's salt on the wound right there, Jordan.
That hurts. That hurts a lot.
Because now that definitely, because, I mean, I think Parker had a very strong command here. But after that one little sliver of health that Tapu Fini was able to hold on to and get his berry off, Austin now is sitting very, very comfortably, even if that Tapu Koko is on the field. As Manectric goes ahead and sets up another light screen.
And we see it's faster than Tapu Koko. We have that now down pat.
Thunderbolt.
But that might still be enough to pick up the knockout, as we see there.
Which it does. That terrain, it's just too much at times. But the Icy Wind will go ahead, connect into that Manectric slot, now making the Tapu Koko faster.
Which is going to hurt the Manectric. Such an interesting Manectric.
But we do see Scizor now. Scizor was hiding in the back for Austin, and nice and sleek green Scizor. And this is a wonderful, honestly, for Austin, just because, you know, there's that bullet punch potential for the Tapu Koko here. There's the knockoff on the Cresselia, even Bug Bite on the Cresselia, just doing a huge amount of damage. And we're not seeing leftovers on this Cresselia as well, so it might be a Light Clay or something like that, but we're actually going to be seeing the Electrium Z, the Gigavolt Havoc, go off from this Tapu Koko, more than likely into that Scizor slot.
Yeah. Get rid of that thing now. Even though it's not a Mega Evolution, it still hurts, you know?
You do see how much damage that's going to do, and Scizor is going to be able to tank it out as the Volt Switch now goes and connects into that Tapu Koko, doing a good about 30% damage to it, and Scizor, let's see. We're going to see
comes back out.
And how is this Scizor going to retaliate here?
Cresselia manages to go first with an Icy Wind.
And that Cresselia is outspeeding the Scizor, if I'm not mistaken.
So that means the speed drop isn't going to matter, because it's already faster.
Which means that this Scizor is extremely bulky, as we do see its berry actually pop, so that's a very, very bulky Scizor instead of an offensive one. And the Scizor's Swords Dance.
So now Scizor is going to start to clean up.
Scizor is scary now. Yep. Yeah, that was a very, very nice play.
To anticipate, Scrafty is going to fake out into Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko might protect, might not, you know, have to see. And then, or it might swap. And then Scizor is going to do a bug move on Cresselia after Cresselia does another Icy Wind or something.
As we do see Tapu Koko go for that protect, will we see the fake out on the Cresselia?
Scrafty goes for fake out into the Tapu Koko.
Did you just call this whole play? Goes for the bullet punch. No.
Oh.
Skill swap though is going to go ahead and connect.
That's gonna hurt.
As Scizor's Technician is now gone. That's nicely done there.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah, that's a good play on Parker's part. While that Scizor is sitting at +2, it's lower attacking moves now.
Cresselia could also skill swap on Scrafty to get Intimidate off.
That's scary.
That is scary. Or Manectric if he swaps out for Manectric. Ooh. Scizor goes for the Protect. Tapu Koko going for the Thunderbolt onto Scizor. Cresselia does another Icy Wind instead. Gets more chip damage, just ensure that everyone else is slower. Scrappy takes just a touch. Drop speed. Goes for the Drain Punch.
Here on that Tapu Koko. Does a little bit of damage, knocking him just right below that 50% range.
Yeah, that's probably about enough to erase the Icy Wind, but that's about it, you know. Maybe a touch more. Scrafty's going to have to go for a knockoff or something with Cresselia if he wants to do anything.
Absolutely. Either that or even because it is a bulkier set of the Scizor, maybe even go for another Swords Dance just to kind of combat the fact that it did lose its Technician, as we do see Salamence make its way back onto the field. Tapu Koko going for the Protect here. We see Scrafty go on the offensive here. Scizor goes for another Bullet Punch. And Scrafty goes for the knockoff here onto this Salamence. Just go ahead and pick it up the kill there.
Yeah. Light Screen wears off. So now, are we going to see Manectric come back in to set it up again?
I definitely think so. If anything,
it's almost going to be necessary in order for Austin's Pokemon to survive, you know. But at the same time, it's a risky move, because Manectric is about half health, if I remember correctly. So, popping in, especially when it could get another Icy Wind drop, and then Tapu Koko might be able to finish it off before it puts up the Light Screen. So it's a risky situation here. We'll have to see if Scizor just goes for another Bullet Punch.
Because we do see that Bullet Punch go off. We do see, even at that +2, that Tapu Koko is going to go ahead and go down, and Parker is up against the wall now as Icy Wind goes and connects into both of these Pokemon once again, just doing very, very small damage.
Dropping their speed, but they don't care so much. They're already low.
Scrafty going for that knockoff, getting rid of
its
Mago Berry.
Pitch Berry. That's, I mean, I don't know if it's going to matter too much, because now it's 3-on-1, and they would have been able to burst.
Yeah, that is going to be, that was a wonderful, wonderful battle here. Austin, I think, is going to go ahead and pick up the win, and which he does, and wow. Once again, this game one is something else. The fact that we didn't really get to see that Manectric do too much. It set up Light Screams, it Volt switched out. That Tapu Koko firing off that huge Gigavolt Havoc on that Scizor tanking the hit. The Tapu Fini living on the slightest sliver of health to pick up the knockout on that Heatran. This is a battle. This is going to be a good fight because both of these trainers, of course, want to pick up that victory and get into top cut.
It's going to be interesting to see how Parker adapts his team in order to come back and deal with the fact that this Manectric is so unique, you know. That Light Screen definitely helped a lot.
It honestly did, and this Manectric is just very tech-oriented, which is really, really interesting to see. Because
I'm pretty sure we're going to see the Landorus Therian come out on Parker's side. It's not going to care so much about that Light Screen.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think Parker definitely has to switch it up, and maybe even bring the Snorlax to tank out some hits, because Snorlax could potentially put on some hurt as well. The only potential threat of that is, of course, that Terrakion and that Scrafty, but we'll just have to see if Parker goes ahead and changes up any of his tech here. As we do see Tapu Koko and Landorus, like you said, come on in onto the field, and following up we have Manectric and Tapu Fini. So a good way to combat, like you said, that Light Screen.
I wonder if the Light Screen catches on enough. Does Landorus learn Brick Break? I mean, I don't expect this one to know it, but
if I'm not mistaken, I believe Landorus does learn Brick Break, but at the same time, there wouldn't be much use for it, at least in a VGC standpoint, unless you have Amon dedicated to it. Like Amon, I can see like that as like the Hitmontop from earlier, or maybe even Scrafty, but.
I mean, that would also help against the snow teams, but we haven't seen any of those yet. So I think, I think that's kind of scaled back in terms of popularity.
As we do see Parker now going on the offensive with both of his Intimidate users and his physical mons, and Scrafty's going to go ahead and fire back with another Intimidate as well.
That's going to hurt for Parker's side, because both of those need their attack. You know,
But the Manectric
goes for the Protect.
And I believe we will see an Earthquake come out and just do a little bit of damage onto that Scrafty here. Good read by Austin. You know, he got his Scrafty in for relatively free, as we do see that this Earthquake isn't going to be doing a whole lot of damage. Maybe barely under around 20%, which is really, really nice, because now with both of these physical attackers intimidated, Parker's really going to have to rethink things and choose his moves very, very carefully heading into this next
even with the Intimidate, though, I'm pretty sure Double Edge from Salamence will be able to pick up the knockout on Scrafty. So, meantime, Scrafty is still threatening the Fake Out for this turn. So we'll have to see who he decides to Fake Out and how that's going to play out.
And it's just an Intimidate party here, as now the Manectric gets involved. After its Mega Evolution, sending off another Intimidate, giving both the Landers and the Salamence a -2 physical attack. And now Salamence
decides to Mega Evolve as well. Going into full Croissant mode. Takes out the Landorus. Manectric goes for the Volt Switch.
Going to do a good amount of damage onto that Salamence, bringing it just right above the 50% mark, maybe around 60%. And in comes the... I want to say the Tapu Fini. Yeah, the Tapu Fini has a wonderful chance to set up, get one Calm Mind up if it wants to, or just go on the offensive here. As Salamence actually goes ahead and gets up the Tailwind. So, very, very interesting here.
I think that's a good play. That allows his Pokemon to be faster than Manectric. Manectric is really fast.
It's super fast.
Really fast. But now Parker's Pokemon are all faster than this Manectric, so it's not going to be nearly as effective now. So we might see some of Parker swap out some of his Pokemon at this point, because there's a Hyper Voice from Salamence, as there's still no light screen up at the moment. So special moves are doing all right. But the combo of that light screen with cycling through Intimidates really shuts down your opponent.
It's a very, very nice strategy. We haven't even we haven't seen Whimsicott, Terrakion at all. This four-man core of Fini, Scrafty, Scizor, and Manectric is working really wonders for Austin. As we do see Tapu Koko now enter on Parker's side of the field. Landorus goes for that Rock Slide, wanting to get maybe a little bit of chip damage and some flinches going. As we do see that Finny's going to go ahead and get that Scald off. And that does a lot of damage there. That Landorus is going to be taking a huge hit. And Scrafty following up with a knockoff. And it's enough to pick up the knockout there. Very, very nicely done by Austin.
And Landorus wasn't doing a whole lot with those extra Intimidates stacked on top of it, you know. Salamence comes back out, now free of Intimidates. So it'll be interesting. Tapu Koko really threatens this Tapu Fini at the moment. Salamence really threatens the Scrafty at the moment. So Parker's got some good presence here.
Yeah, he has a lot of good backups and a lot of good presence, but at the same time, if Parker wants to go for that huge offensive attack, you know, even with that Gigavolt Havoc, I think that Scizor is going to be able to tank that hit from full HP like it did before, and, you know, possibly get off a Bullet Punch, do a lot of damage to it. And that's Scrafty. Scrafty swapping out in and out for that Manectric. I mean, that Intimidate's just going to hurt more and more, as we do see Finny swap right into the Manectric, actually go for the Intimidate.
But he's still going to have to be careful with the Tailwind up on Parker's side. Because Manectric is going to be going, you know, it's not going to be going first like it usually does.
We do see Scizor enter onto the field as Thunderbolt goes and connects right into that Manectric, as we do see there's about 25% damage, and the Double Edge now connects right into that Scizor, and that's going to do right around 50%, so not bad at all if you ask me.
I'm pretty
especially
sure
after that Intimidate.
I think, though, that puts it in knockout range of the Gigavolt Havoc.
Yes, it does.
So we'll have to see if Austin just decides to go for the Bullet Punch to get some damage out, or if he's going to hope that he can survive and get a Swords Dance off. Manectric also might go for Light Screen again, but that's not going to be able to mitigate too much this turn specifically.
We do see Manectric just straight go for the Protect here.
Scizor also goes for Protect.
Just wanting to get an idea of what Parker is going for. Parker has a really commanding presence as Thunderbolt does connect. And we do see Hyper Voice go ahead and connect, so...
Trying to stall out the Tailwind. And it's done.
You ask and you shall receive, Jordan.
So now this Manectric is fastest again. Time to see decides to go for the Volt Switch or set up a light screen.
I definitely do see a light screen coming here, just because even if Salamence wants to go on that defensive with the double edge, you know, that's just slowly whittling it down with that recoil damage. So its best its next best move is going to be that Hyper Voice, and if it gets that light, if that Manectric is able to get that light screen up for Austin, you know, his Pokemon are going to be sitting very, very nicely, especially once that Scizor is able to get up maybe even one Sword Dance or get a little bit more damage off on this Tapu Koko. But we're going to go ahead and get that swap out into Scrafty here.
Get the Intimidate off to drop down this Salamence yet again. Salamence goes for the Protect. And right about here is where we'll see the light screen.
Yep.
Just totally mitigating his opponent's damage.
But we go ahead and do see that Gigavolt Havoc pop off from Parker. That Tapu Koko is just wanting to get a huge hit off on something.
With that light screen though, that's probably what allowed Scizor to survive last time. And so even this time, like if it hits, it's not gonna do still not gonna do nearly as much damage. Right into the Manectric. And Manectric is gonna be able to tank this.
Behind the light screen as well as the Protect. Yeah, the light screen. Very, very interesting here. Manectric's really free to Volt Switch into that Salamence now, get off good damage there, and Tapu Koko is just going to have to try and find some way around this crazy shenanigans Austin's putting up, because Austin is having a very commanding lead here. Like, everything that Parker tries to do just turns around. Austin can just turn around and could just kind of like say no, be gone. Yeah.
Like, if it weren't for the light screen intimidates, Parker would have been running all over him, you know.
Absolutely.
Like, it still would have been back and forth, but Parker's Pokemon would have just been pounding. But now it's just, you know.
Yeah, and with that terrain now, Parker is feeling the negative effects from that as Manectric, and we just see how much damage that Volt Switch alone did to that Heatran. And every time, you know, Parker gets a little bit of footing, you know, Austin is just right there with a good retort for it. And Scizor makes its way back onto the field once again.
An interesting choice, considering Heatran is there. At the same time, he probably didn't want to bring out Tapu Fini just in case there was a Thunderbolt going into that slot. So.
Oh, but we see the Drain Punch now connecting to the Heatran, picking up the knockout.
Oh boy.
That was a good read on Austin's part. That was a wonderful read indeed.
Ouch. Now the electricity is gone. Tapu Koko is neutered even further, as the Salamence is required to come back out, being the last Pokemon that Parker has. I think Austin has this. He still has all 4 Pokemon.
Yeah, Parker's going to have to pull off some very interesting shenanigans just to guarantee that he at least gets into Game 3 here. But Austin, as
someone's going to switch for Manectric, because he needs to get the Intimidate off on the Salamence in order to ensure the win. Otherwise, Salamence with his double edge is going to hit too hard. So
we do see that swap right into the Manectric, like you said, from that Scrafty. Very, very safe play here, as that Scrafty is going to be able to do it isn't going to be able to do a whole lot with Dazzling Gleam and a potential double edge or Hyper Voice from the Salamence. Tapu Koko is firing off a Thunderbolt right into that Scizor. It's going to live, and it's going to pop that berry. Getting back 50% of its health, and we do see that Salamence go for the Tailwind to guarantee it, that it does outspeed in the following turns. And Scizor is just free to Sword Stance. Here we go.
This is going to hurt. Yeah, I mean, that puts them above Manectric, but at the same time, I don't know if that Tailwind is really going to matter. Manectric is the only, other than possibly the 4th that we haven't seen. Oh wait, no, the 4th is Fini. Yeah, that Tailwind only really matters on the Manectric. Everything else is slower than those 2 Pokemon on Parker's side, so we're going to have to see how this plays out.
And Bullet Punch goes ahead and connects right into that Salamence. That's a good read there for Austin after that +2. We see that picks up the knockout, and I think Austin he's fighting for this. He is saying no to Parker. With this bubble match and this top cut on the line, I will do whatever I need to get into the top cut, and it looks like Austin is going to be able to pick up the Game 2 victory over Parker Lish and head into top cut. that was a good way to end Swiss rounds, Jordan.
That was great. Like, honestly, most of the time when you see a setup like with a light screen Manette trick, like usually those, you know, they might get a win or two, but ultimately they tend to not be.
But this team that Austin had has such a commanding presence over Parker's team. There wasn't a single moment where Parker wasn't probably second guessing his moves, just because that double intimidate core, that light screen there on a Mega Manectric of all things. Let's start off on the Mega Manectric alone.
Was there triple intimidate? Because there was Scrafty, Manectric. No, it was just
it was the double intimidate.
Still, that was great. That was.
Sorry about that, guys. Stuff on the side, but yeah, it was just an awesome round. Best of luck to Austin heading into Top Cut, and with that, guys, we will be right back. We're slowly setting up for Top Cut. Don't go anywhere, okay? Welcome back, Pokemon players, as we are heading into the top cut, the semi-final round of our Midseason Showdown here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I am Brennan Benavides, and of course joining me is Jordan Henley.
Alola.
And just so you guys know, as far as the top cut, the people that have made the top cut, we have Bridger Snow, Austin Jeffs, who we saw last round, Emilio Estrada, and Matthew Greaves. So 3 of the 4 that have been on stream, and we're gonna go ahead and cut over to 2 of them right now, as we have Matthew Greaves and Emilio Estrada back for the semi-final round on stream. Now, of course, going back down the teams again, we have Gengar Hitmontop, Tapu Bulu, Kommo-o, Tyranitar, and Volcarona versus Emilio's Aegislash, Snorlax, Porygon 2, Tapu Lele, Lando T, and Charizard Y.
This is going to be interesting. Both of these are excellent battlers, and so to see who comes out on top is really going to be a intense fight.
Yeah, they're definitely well-seasoned veterans here in the Utah Pokemon community for sure. We've seen them play against each other many times. They've been on stream together many times as well. So always best of luck to them, and hopefully whoever the best player will play here. As well as I do see the potential battle of weather coming up.
The best part about this is there's no overlap with Pokemon. You know, both of their teams are completely unique.
Yeah, both of their teams are completely unique, as we do see Matthew is actually locked in extremely quickly. Emilio's taking that extra second to really finalize his slots here. But all in all, just like the uniqueness that some of the teams that we've seen has been really, really nice. Of course, we're going to be seeing a lot of Landos. The Tapus are nothing to be messed with still, but it's nice to see other things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in this matchup specifically, Trick Room is going to be vital if Emilio wants to win. Being able to pull off Trick Room is going to get him the edge that he needs. Otherwise, Master Pokemon are going to be faster and able to kind of overrun Emilio's Pokemon. Ooh, are we going to see the ally switch?
We could see the ally switch again.
I think he's probably going to always do it the first turn. You know, the very first game.
To kind of mess with
you never expect it.
Unless they faced earlier in the day. I'm not sure if they have or not, but
yeah,
that ally switch is definitely something to throw people around for their money. So we do see that Gengar go ahead and Mega Evolve, now locking, or trapping, I should say, these 2 Pokemon on the field on Emilio's side, but that doesn't mean that they can't trade places, Jordan, as we do see Volcarona go for the Rage Powder here, wanting to redirect any attacks going towards that Gengar, as we do see Gengar straight go for the Sludge Bomb, connect onto that Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele's going to hold on, and we're going to see the Shattered Psyche start the whole match off here. So it's a really, really good move that Matthew did go ahead and Rage Powder.
At the same time, though, I'm pretty sure that the Shattered Psyche is better for going to Volcarona, considering that Psychic, even on Mega Gengar, would be enough to get a one-hit knockout, you know? So Volcarona takes massive damage, manages to survive, and eats its Pinch Berry. So it's still pretty good, but the Trick Room does go off, and now Emilio's Pokemon are faster.
Absolutely, and that's going to be really beneficial, considering that Tapu Lele, even though it has such a small amount of health, is going to be able to put in a lot more effort here, especially against that Gengar, being effective against that Volcarona once again doing a huge amount of damage. Being dealt a huge amount of damage itself, while it is sitting really fairly well after that Pinch Berry. I mean, there's still a lot to be done here.
Ooh, this is going to be tough though. I'm pretty sure that Volcarona is still going to have to Rage Powder if he wants Gengar to stick around. Because Porygon 2 isn't going to be able to do enough damage to knock out Volcarona. But instead, swaps out Volcarona for Tyranitar.
We might be seeing a Protect here on Gengar then, just to kind of gain that advantage here. As we do see that Sandstream go ahead and start to... it's going to be really, really nice, because it's going to start to whittle down, if not knock out that Tapu Lele next turn. As we do see Porygon 2 go for that Ice Beam straight into that Tyranitar slot. We're going to see how much damage this does, and that is very little damage.
Yes, that is very little damage.
So really nicely done by Matthew there, as that Sandstorm is going to go ahead and pick up the knockout on Tapu Lele. A huge threat is already out of the way.
Now Gengar, even though it's slow under Trick Room, is still a powerful force to be reckoned with. You know, it hits hard. Now we see the Aegislash come out to take advantage of the Trick Room here. Hit hard and hit first.
Absolutely. If anything, for sure, the Gengar, you know, could go for another protect. The Gengar could want to go on the offensive. I would say go on the offensive with it, just because I do see potentially Emilio wanting to...
Porygon 2 also has Ally Switch.
What's going on here, Jordan?
Oh my goodness.
This Ally... Yo, this is such... This is what I was saying. This Tyranitar would be definitely the priority over the Gengar.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Oh, with the Sludge Bomb into the Aegislash. That could have gone one of two ways with that Gengar. Could have Shadow Balled the Porygon 2 there, or Sludge Bomb. Oh my goodness, what is with this? What is with this tag?
This is amazing is what it is. You see Volcarona come back out. This is going to be a little tough on Emilio, as that Rage Powder is going to force Emilio to, you know, Volcarona is going to eat any of the attacks. So Aegislash here is probably going to swap into a King's. Oh, actually, instead decides to rotate out for Charizard.
Very interesting tech here. As we do see Gengar wanting just to go ahead and stall out those turns for the Trick Room. Goes for the Protect as Ice Beam goes and connects right into that protected Gengar slot. And Volcarona is going to go for that Overheat. Everyone's carrying Overheat today.
Right into Charizard. A good move there.
Yeah, very nicely done for sure. As now that special attack is at -2, really crippling that Volcarona.
Everyone takes a little bit of damage from Sandstorm. Trick Room still on the field. Probably the last turn, as Charizard can hit Volcarona pretty hard. Even though the fire is neutral on Volcarona, it still hits pretty hard.
It absolutely does. In fact, Volcarona can't take hits to begin with at all, even if it is a fire move. I know that as a fact, just from past experiences. And the fact that Volcarona is at -2 special attack, it's not going to be able to do anything this next turn, so Matthew's going to have to swap it out and do something here, because Porygon 2 and Charizard are really free to go on the offensive here, especially against that Gengar, considering that Charizard will be able to go move first, as we do see Gengar swap out for the Hitmontop.
Get the Intimidate off. Isn't going to go too much, as both of these are special attack oriented. But Charizard is going to Mega Evolve into Charizard Y, get rid of the Sand, replace it with Sun. Heat Wave most likely coming off, which would have been a decent chunk in the Gengar, but now with Hitmontop there, it might not be as much as he was hoping, but it's still going to hurt a lot.
Do you see that Protect coming from that Volcarona, just wanting to slowly keep it around a little bit longer, and we do see the Ice Beam go and connect into that Hitmontop. We do see it does a little bit of decent damage, but following up with this Heat Wave, this could be enough to knock it out here, Jordan. We do see it actually holds on, and it's going to be able to get some health back with that Guava Berry, and the dimensions return to normal. So very, very tricky play here for Matthew, because there's that Ally Switch that could still happen.
Oh yeah,
allowing Charizard to get off another huge Heat Wave or Overheat, depending on, you know, whatever happens. But it's a really cool tech and a very fun strategy for sure.
We also still have the Fake Out from Hitmontop though, so that's something that we're gonna have to keep in mind. Let's go to the Fake Out on Charizard. Porygon managed to get off its Trick Room for free.
That's a very, very unfortunate thing for Matthew. I think he was trying to predict that Ally Switch there, and hopefully that Porygon 2, catch up Porygon 2 in that Ally Switch, but unfortunately that wasn't the case, and now Emilio's sitting fine once again with this Trick Room.
It's going to be tough. Gengar is just having a rough time under this Trick Room, you know, really, really fast. Oh, and we see Volcarona come back out instead. Gengar can't do much on the Trick Room.
Once
Ally
again,
Switch pulls off.
Stone Edge
into Porygon 2.
Man, Emilio, even with that critting, this Heat Wave is going to do a huge amount of damage, and that's a wonderful play for Emilio as he knocks both of these Pokemon into the red. This is only game 1, Jordan.
Yeah. Porygon 2 is probably going to Ice Beam into Hitmontop. And Charizard uses whatever to finish off Volcarona. You know, this turn, Oh, instead goes for the ally switch again. We'll have to see if Matthew is able to predict that.
As we do see Volcarona go for that Rage Powder. Did Emilio outthink Matthew here again? And we do see the Stone Edge go into the Porygon again with another crit. And, oh, hit on top of Volts. So the Volcarona is taken out, but now that hit on top is there to potentially knock out that Charizard. But now, do you ally switch one more time, Jordan, or do you stay where you are?
I would say stay at this point. We've got so many mind games.
But he's already done it twice. He's already done it twice. So would he do it a third time, or would he see like no?
I'm pretty sure Ice Beam is enough to finish off Hitmontop. I'm surprised he hasn't done that yet already. In all honesty, so I do not see an ally switch.
I think Emilio's just having fun.
Yeah, I would have fun with ally switch if I was using it. So many mind games. It's nuts. So at that point, it's not just a matter of which Pokemon is stronger, it's who's thinking ahead first, you know?
Absolutely. We do see that Gengar go ahead and just get that Protect off to get those Trick Room turns out of the way, and we do see Porygon 2 go on that offensive and get that Ice Beam off on that Hitmontop like you said, and Hitmontop is going to go ahead and get Fire back with the critical hit after Hitmontop got 2 of them off on itself. Sunlight fades, unfortunately, but Emilio is looking very, very powerful here, as Gengar is here to face the world, and there could be a potential for a double protect here, but to get that Trick Room off, which we could potentially see, but if not, Matthew definitely played well, and Gengar goes for the double protect and gets it.
Oh, that's nuts. But Porygon 2 goes for the recovery. That's going to be tough to break through.
We do see Charizard just go ahead and get that Heat Wave off. There was the double protect, and the dimensions return to normal now, and Gengar is now able to outspeed everything on this field.
I don't think it's going to matter, though. Charizard can protect. Porygon will survive and go for Trick Room. Oh, the Charizard doesn't protect. Manages to get the knockout there. Porygon 2 goes for Trick Room.
But what is it right now that Porygon can do to this Gengar?
Ice Beam a couple times. We still, Emilio still has a Pokemon in the back.
Yes, he does. He has that
Aegislash. Whew. This is the ally switch shenanigans again. One Pokemon is immune to a different. Each Pokemon is immune to a different move
of its stab, which actually works out so well for Emilio.
But at this point, Gengar goes for the protect. He's going to try to stall out the Trick Room as long as possible. But a single Shadow Ball from this Aegislash is going to be enough to knock out this Gengar. So I do not think that Matthew's going to be able to pull it off, but he's definitely going for it. You know, he is not going down without a fight. You saw that he was potentially thinking about a forfeit, and he decided to go for the double protect and pull it off. You know, this is why even when things are
does not get the double protect here, Shadow Ball will go ahead and connect. And we do see that that Gengar is going to go ahead and go down, and Emilio picking up the Game 1 battle here in the semifinal round. Very nicely done. I mean, that ally switch
plays so many mind games, bro.
It honestly does.
I really, a small part of me was hoping that Gengar would have been able to get off a quadruple protect. That would have been absolutely nuts. Completely statistically improbable. But that would have been just totally nuts if that had been pulled off, you know? And something like that might have been able to get him to win the game, maybe.
Absolutely. And my apologies, there is a little bit of an error on the screen, as Emilio does have Tapu Lele and not Kommo-o on his team. My apologies, there's a misclick there. We're fixing that right now in between the rounds here. My apologies about that, guys.
And I even double-checked that, too. How did I not catch that? Anyways.
We are just super excited about ally switch.
And as we go into round 2, or game 2 of the semifinals, Emilio's Trick Room really does a lot of work.
It really does. I mean, the fact that Matthew has allowed Emilio to get up those Trick Rooms, each time after another, it really allows Emilio just to thrive. Matthew's definitely going to have to make those reads a little bit more efficiently and hopefully target down that Porygon 2 right now. Otherwise, it's all over.
Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing. If Porygon 2 sticks around, you know, there's not a whole lot you can do. So if you can get rid of Porygon 2 right off the bat, Emilio's hurting. really bad.
So we do see Gengar and Volcarona make their way back onto the field here. It's going to be followed up by Emilio sending in the go to allies, the ally switch. Porygon 2 and Tapu Lele.
Is Tapu Lele going to ally switch? We don't know. We'll have to see.
Tapu Lele gonna ally switch? Is Porygon 2 gonna ally switch? Is it a double ally switch? Yo.
Double ally switch is the worst idea you could possibly think.
That would be really cool though.
It is the worst idea you could possibly conceive of. I will reiterate.
The worst idea?
Maybe the second worst idea. There might be something. But a double ally switch. No.
But we're going to go ahead and get the Gengar to Mega Evolve here, which honestly is free to Sludge Bomb. But we do see that Rage Power to go ahead and go off from the Volcarona. Come in the center of attention, Sludge Bomb goes off, connects right into that Tapu Lele, and goes ahead and just picks up the knockout right away with the crit. I'm not sure if that mattered or not, but that's a huge turn there for Matthew as the Trick Room does go up once again for Emilio. Either way, that critical hit on the Lele or the Porygon 2 would have been wonderful, just to wear down one of the two of the Mons, and in this case, knocked one of them out. And
Charizard comes out to play.
He's back again, once again.
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough to deal with.
Yeah, but now, depending on if there is no ally switch or not, as soon as that sun goes up, that overheat from Volcarona is going to be able to do a lot of damage to that Porygon too. So hopefully Matthew, like I said, is just able to make those right reads with the potential ally switch being there, with it not being there.
I would almost, at this point, it seems like, oh, he actually decides to swap out Volcarona for Tyranitar.
Very, very interesting.
Ooh, but the sun's going to come out still, because Mega Evolution happens after.
Absolutely. We do see Gengar go ahead and protect.
Oh, but there was no Mega Evolution.
Very interesting. As we do see Charizard just go for the Heat Wave there. I'm wondering what Matthew was thinking here, as I'm not sure what he was thinking. Maybe just to gain a little bit of a Trick Room advantage of some kind over the Charizard as soon as it Mega Evolves. I'm not 100% sure, but
he might have just forgotten to click it. That happens sometimes.
Absolutely, but I don't know. At the same time, though, I feel like Matthew is in a better spot now.
But the ally switch, bro.
Yeah,
the ally
switch is there, but Tyranitar does have Rock Slide.
This is true. Decides to go for the Mega Evolution. If Tyranitar is slower, which means faster on the Trick Room, and gets the Rock Slide out first, that's a tough situation.
Did you see that Ice Beam go ahead and connect into that Gengar slot, doing a lot of damage there? Like this. Oh, the Charizard evades!
Oh, that's gonna matter so much. That's gonna matter so much. Oh my goodness.
And that Heat Wave will go ahead and connect. Picking up the kill on that Gengar. Oh no, and it's a critical hit on Tyranitar.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
That definitely mattered there, Jordan. That's super unfortunate for Matthew. This is just not his day here. When one of those things happens, like you have a crucial miss, you totally go on like the adrenaline really starts pumping and you really go into overthinking mode. And so hopefully Matthew is able to keep himself calm and collected here and go for the right plays, as Tyranitar just goes for another Rock Slide. It's able to get a little bit of chip damage on that Aegislash that did just switch in. Charizard will be able to stick around for a little bit longer, that it protected. Volcarona is free to go ahead and overheat, but it is going to be into that Charizard slot. If it went into that Aegislash spot, that would have been huge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He still might go for the Aegislash too, but Aegislash is going to at least be able to get one hit off. Probably a Steel move into Tyranitar to get rid of it. Or
Sacred Sword.
Yeah. Or yeah, actually, you know what, you're right. A Sacred Sword into Tyranitar to pick up the knockout. Oh, that Rock Slide miss mattered so. I'm still caught up on it. It mattered so much.
Because we've all been there.
Yeah. Pulls back, swaps out for Hitmontop.
Able to get off that Intimidate, which is really nice. Right now, at least for the Sacred Swording Aegislash.
Pardon me. Edge slash swaps around and goes for the Sacred Sword on the Hitmontop. Doing a decent amount of damage. And overheat onto the Edge slash.
Which is super nice because now that Tyranitar can come in and handle this Charizard as soon as the sun is gone. So really, really nice play here with Matthew. Like I said, he kept himself really calm here. Not sure what the thought was here for Emilio leaving the Aegis Slash in like that, but at the same time, the dimensions are back to normal. Charizard now is the fastest thing on this field, and Porygon 2 can easily come back in and have some fun.
With its attack rising, so unfortunately it doesn't get the special attack boost, but we still have the fake out threat from Hitmontop, and it's still in on its first turn. So,
but Ally Switch.
But Ally Switch. And fake out might have higher priority though. I think Ally Switch probably has priority 1 or 2. Fake out has priority 3. So Tyranitar comes into play and replaces the sun with sand.
Hitmontop goes for that fake out onto that Charizard.
And
another
Ally
Switch.
So Ally Switch does nothing.
But that's actually just good information for Emilio heading into the future if this game does continue on. Unfortunately, now that Charizard won't be able to take command of the sun. Now that Emilio is down to only 2 Pokemon. However, Trick Room is still a potential possibility, and it will be highly beneficial if Emilio can get it up.
It would have been a lot better if Porygon 2 had gone for Trick Room instead of Ally Switch. But you can see that unfortunately did not happen. Charizard goes for the Hidden Power on the Tyranitar.
It looks like it's going to be Hidden Power Ice. The Rock Slide comes off, connects onto both of the Pokemon again. The Charizard is going to be able to be knocked out, which is really awesome for Matthew. That is the break he needed. And Porygon went ahead and flinched, not able to get up the Trick Room or go on the offensive if it wanted to. Slowly being whittled down by the Sandstorm. This next attack, I think, is going to be the end of Game 2 here, Jordan. I think Matthew played wonderfully. That Rock Slide miss was very, very scary. And but like I said, I believe Matthew was calm and collected, and he just kept his focus because he knew what he had to do to make the right adjustments after missing that first Rock Slide, and was able to pull off with a Game 2 victory. And for the first time in the semifinals, we are heading into Game 3.
Yeah, this is good. This is gonna be nuts. This is gonna be intense. I want to see Kobo-O come out and use its clinging Soul Blaze again, and just wipe the field. I want to see it happen. I want to see it happen so bad. But it might not be the best strategy either. If he can make sure Tapu Lele stays off the field similar to before, then it might be okay.
As we are in the team prep screen, both players are definitely going to be wanting to think things over as Emilio immediately locks in.
And it looks like both of them actually locked in fairly quickly.
Absolutely. So best of luck to both of these players. We might go on mute for a quick second here, guys. Just give us a second and enjoy the battle.
So we see Matthew with same lead as both of them have the same lead as before. Interesting strategy, I feel. Emilio seems to be going he seems to be kind of a one-trick pony in this instance, as Tyranitar swaps out for Volcarona swaps out for Tyranitar, bring up the Sandstorm. Gengar decides to Mega Evolve. Are we going to see the Ally Switch this time? We're going to see the Ally Switch this time. That might matter a lot. Gengar managed to get the Sludge Bomb on Porygon 2. Oh! And he takes him out. Oh man, that was so good. He expected the Ally Switch, and it didn't happen.
Oh, and then that huge attack coming off from that Tapu Lele was absolutely incredible, because now a huge threat like Mega Gengar is gone, and the Trick Room is up. What a wonderful way for Emilio to start.
Yeah, that was... Oh, Ally Switch plays so many mind games.
It honestly does. It's a really cool strategy. Up until this point, I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, and it's just the mind games, man. The mind games. And now we have a decent situation. Emilio, Moonblast and Tyranitar would deal a hefty chunk of damage. Volcarona could take damage from both using Rage Powder to redirect them, but it'll still take a lot. And Tyranitar, you know, can do a decent amount of damage to Porygon 2 possibly, but it's a bad matchup against Tapu Lele. So we'll have to see how this plays out.
As we do see Porygon 2 go for another Ally Switch. Will this play into Emilio's favor? We do see Tyranitar go for the Crunch, and it's going to land right onto that Porygon 2, knocking it into it low 25% health, and the Psychic's coming off onto that Volcarona, knocking it right above 50%, but its special defense is dropped, and the Overheat now connects, and it's going to connect onto that Tapu Lele. So huge hits off on all sides of the field. However, that Porygon is still around, and it's still able to mess some things up.
And it's pretty weak at this point. So Porygon 2 might not be lasting the whole game like that has the previous 2 rounds. But at the same time, it's going to go first. Recover could be what it needs to pull through. Volcarona goes for the Protect. Porygon 2 goes for the Ice Beam,
which it will connect onto that Tyranitar, doing a little bit of chip damage that it needs. Tyranitar is going to go ahead and go for that Crunch, and it's going to land it on the Tapu Lele, getting rid of another huge threat over on Emilio's side, because Tyranitar is definitely able to eat up those Ice Beams for the time being, and is going to be able to follow up a wonderful attack with Volcarona this upcoming turn
and
to
here we
potentially
see
knock it out.
Oh, Snorlax
making its first appearance here in this game, in this round. And Snorlax
Snorlax is a good setup for this one. He's with a
high horsepower,
or even a fighting type move on Tyranitar. Like, I think Low Kick might be one of the moves it can learn. Volcarona swaps out for Hitmontop. Good choice to drop the attack of Snorlax. And
Snorlax
goes for the high horsepower.
Connect them onto the Hitmontop. It gets a critical hit, so even though that Intimidate was really nice for Matthew, that critical hit broke through, and another Ice Beam came through, and Crunch is going to go on that Snorlax and do a huge amount of damage to it, knocking it under 50% now, or at 50% after that Sandstorm damage automatically activating its Bay.
I felt like he's just ignoring Porygon 2 at this point, because the Sandstorm will be enough to knock it out if it doesn't recover. That's the big thing.
But very, very interesting tech here with this Hitmontop. This Hitmontop can do a lot of damage for this onto this Snorlax, and this Tyranitar can follow suit and help knock it out. But if Snorlax protects and Porygon is kind of left open, it will be free to recover. As we do see Snorlax go for that high horsepower once again. Hopefully no crits this time, as we don't see that. Porygon 2 gets that Ice Beam off onto that Hitmontop, activating its berry, bringing it back up right above 50% there. And now Crunch is going to go off. Well, we see a close combat here to follow up, which we do, and that's going to connect right into that Snorlax. Oh, and the Sandstorm is going to knock it out.
And it subsides, but the Trick Room is gone now.
The Trick Room is gone, which is huge, but what is with these bulky Pokemon living on one today?
It just happens, bro. It just happens.
Oh my word.
Matthew is in a great spot now, though.
Matthew is in a wonderful spot just because he does outspeed picking up the knockout on the Snorlax there with another close combat. Tyranitar definitely outspeeds Porygon too, so we will see a double knockout here. But wow, that was something nuts.
Yeah.
If that Trick Room would have lasted one more turn, Emilio would have had those knockouts, I feel. At least one knockout. As we do see Aegislash now coming in against the world.
Is it going to be enough?
To take on...
Maybe, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I feel like until that Volcarona comes in safely, it's going to be very interesting. But him on top will go ahead and just swap right out, not wanting to take any hits. As we do see Tyranitar go straight for the crunch as Aegislash
just can't take the heat.
And unfortunately for Emilio, this is where his ally switching days, or at least for today, his ally switching ends, as Matthew Greaves picks up the 2-1 victory over Emilio Estrada. Yeah, Emilio Estrada. And wow, what a game, what a round that was.
Honestly, I was expecting Emilio to pull it out. That Trick Room is really powerful.
Absolutely, I was honestly expecting the same. Like I said, I just felt like Matthew just had to like reevaluate what was going on, keep his cool, and the rest was history. But congrats to Matthew Greaves. Emilio, you played amazingly. We loved your tech for sure. Just unfortunately, it wasn't the right tech this time around. But awesome job. You made it to top cut. You know, those are still points that you do get towards Worlds and all that stuff. But don't go anywhere. Matthew Greaves will be right back
in the finals.
So don't go anywhere, you guys. And welcome back, Pokemon players, to the final round of the Midseason Showdown here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm Brennan Benavides for the last time, and joining me, of course, is Jordan Henley.
Hello.
And guys, just as you saw, Matthew Greaves played wonderfully, came back from a battle against Emilio Estrada, but because he made it into the top 2, we want to personally congratulate Matthew because he has now locked in his world invite. So congratulations, Matthew. You definitely fought your way very, very hard and a very, very long way for it. So congrats, regardless if you win or lose, you have made it to Worlds. So it's always awesome to have some representation there. But we're going to go ahead and transition over to who he is facing, who is going to be Bridger Snow, who I don't think has been on stream today.
No, he hasn't. So this will be a new team that we see go up against Matthew today.
Of course, going up against Matthew's team of Gengar, Hitmontop, Tapu Bulu, Kommo-o, Tyranitar, and Volcarona is going to be Bridger's Nihilego, Tapu Fini, Kartana, Scrafty, Lando T, and Charizard.
Absolutely.
And something that I was noticing with Matthew's team compared to the first time he was on stream to the last round was Matthew used a lot of different tech in regards to the Pokemon he used. Like for the first game, we saw a lot of Tapu Bulu, we saw a lot of Kommo-o. This time we didn't see them at all. Or the last time we didn't see them at all.
He knows how to pick the right tools for the job.
Absolutely. As we go straight into game 1, of course, we want to wish both of these trainers the best of luck, and let's hopefully enjoy a wonderful battle. So we do see a shiny Nihilego hop onto the field. I gotta tell you, that's probably one of my favorite things about Ultra Sun and Moon is we can't have shiny Ultra Beasts. I'm still on 5 days straight of resetting for a Poible, if I have to say so. But we do see Gengar and Hitmontop come on in, Landorus and Nihilego over on Bridger's side, and
trading intimidates.
Right, it's very interesting. Intimidate users and then a poison type. They're kind of thinking the same here.
We'll have to see which Intimidate Poison comes out on top. Hitmontop threatening the fake out though, so we'll have to see if Gengar follows up with that or does something else. Or if he decides to go for another strategy entirely.
Good job, Reed. Good job. See you guys later.
And we do see Gengar go ahead and Mega Evolve. Now locking in both the Landorus and the Nihilego onto the field, which is very, very interesting as Hitmontop does go for that fake out onto the Nihilego of all things. Gengar's going to go for the Icy Wind though, do a lot of damage onto that Landorus, lower and get speed by 1 stage, and that does just a little over 50%. I believe if I'm not oh wait, nope, that was another player, never mind. Landorus goes for the knockoff here onto that Gengar, and
does a decent amount of damage, but not enough as you can't knock off Mega Stones.
Absolutely, and so a knockoff does not get that extra damage that it usually gets from a Pokemon holding an item.
He's probably hoping it would hold like a Focus Sash or something, or Life Orb even, which Gengars are wants to have. So this is going to be interesting. Nihilego, now that it's slower, Gengar goes for the Icy Wind.
Once again, just being able to outspeed everything, Landorus is going to go down this turn, and Nihilego's now at -2 speed, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep. I don't know if that sacrifice was worth it, but at the same time, swapping into an Icy Wind is not a fun thing to swap.
As we do see that critical hit come off from that Hitmontop. This Hitmontop's been taking and giving critical hits back and forth, but Nihilego actually activates its Wiki Berry. A good pinch berry as it fires up a Sludge Bomb back at Hitmontop.
Doing about half damage.
Which is really, really nice, nicely done here. But with that Landorus now gone, it's very questionable. But we do see Scrafty go ahead and come in here. Another double Intimidate core I'd like to add. But very, very interesting. Like, I'm not sure how I felt about that last turn with that Landorus going down.
Yeah, that was a bit of a possibly unnecessary sacrifice, especially with this Icy Wind keeping Nihilego down in speed. This Gengar is probably going to be able to Shadow Ball and clean up the Nihilego. This fake out probably going to go to Volcarona as he can't fake out. Oh, but he actually doesn't go for the fake out. Instead, takes a Sludge Bomb and gets poisoned. instead going for the knockoff onto the Gengar, dealing much more damage considering it is also Dark type.
Oh, but there's the critical hit though.
And the Gengar goes down. And Nihilego goes for Trick Room.
Another Trick Room round.
Oh boy.
I remember the last time we saw Nihilego go for Trick Room when it first was being used, and we were confused then, but now it's pretty common.
This is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And we see Komao come out to play. So I have to see if Bridger is carrying Tapu Fini in the back, or if Komao is going to be able to use its Z move to beef itself up and get a powerful presence on the field. Without the Z move boost, Komao actually does pretty decent on a Trick Room. It's slow. It's on the slower end of things, and while it may not be slower than Nihilego or Scrafty, you know, it's Nihilego now appreciates Icy Wind a lot.
It actually does. Being being at -2 before, it's going to be the fastest thing on the field now.
Hitmontop comes out to get the Intimidate off on the Scrafty. And also threaten Fake out next turn.
Tell me something. Have you ever noticed that Hitmontop actually has a tail?
Only a couple times. It's not something that you see very often, or you pay attention to very often.
I'm sorry, I kind of got sidetracked there, but another knockoff coming out onto that Hitmontop, getting rid of its Guava Berry, which is the perfect timing for that thing, as the Z move actually comes off from Matthew and that Komoium Z. Regardless if it's Trick Room or not. Once again, we get to enjoy the wonderful little dance Komao puts through. And the Clangorous Soul Blaze connects.
No, you gotta say it to the announcer voice. Clangorous Soul Blaze.
I'll leave that to you then. As we do see him explode with power now, attacking both of these Pokemon on the field. Not picking up the knockout on the Nihilego, but now getting that Omni boost that Komao really loves to benefit from.
Everyone loves an Omni boost when supplied to themselves. Kartana decides to come out to play. Interesting choice, probably a good choice, but an interesting choice nonetheless. Especially under Trick Room. Kartana's faster.
Kartana is a faster mon, yes. However, I do feel like Kartana is a really nice response to Pokemon like, say, the Gengar, the Tyranitar. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the Bulu as well with Smart Strike. And then, I don't know, there might be some... I think that it might get a Rock-type move for, like, say, Volcarona. However, do not quote me on that because I know I'm wrong. Yeah. But something in my head is telling me that it might be right.
And Kartana might actually be a bit on the bulkier side if he didn't invest in any speed and went for defenses instead to help him under Trick Room.
We do see Sludge Bomb go ahead and connect into the Hitmontop, just guaranteeing that knockout there, as Nihilego does get the Beast Boost now into its special attack, an easy Beast Boost there. And Drain Punch now connects into that Nihilego, preventing it from get access to that Beast Boost, which is really, really nice on the Komao's part, or Matthew's part, I should say.
And now it's Kartana versus
a Volcarona. Let's just be honest right here. Versus this Volcarona.
This is paper versus fire. I'm pretty sure fire wins. That Komao getting off that Clinging Soul Blaze was enough to secure the victory. Even with the Trick Room for Bridger, it just was either too late or just not enough. Bridger decides to go ahead and forfeit, giving Matthew the win for Game 1 of the finals.
Absolutely, and all in all, a really nicely played out match. It really did go back and forth. Some interesting tech that we did see. Of course, we did see that Trick Room Nihilego, which is becoming more and more popular as the VGC 2017 season went on. I know other things that we saw was the Trick Room Komoium Z. The Gengar getting knocked out at the very beginning was very, very helpful as well. But that Hitmontop put up a good fight, if you ask me. That Hitmontop did a lot.
It takes a lot of damage. I'm surprised at how much damage it can take sometimes. You know, I would have expected it to be a little bit of a excuse us, someone around here is playing some music, so we'll cut the audio feed for a little bit. Okay, apologies for that. They've turned the music down, so we're doing. We don't have any of the distracting noise anymore.
Yeah, even though it looks like we have a wonderful... Well, now that we have a new backdrop, this is just a previous location where we've been actually inside a West Valley Mall here in Salt Lake City, Utah. So we're out in the public just like sitting on a bench, having some fun for this event. But, you know...
And we see the same lead.
You see the same leads.
Is it the same lead? Well, actually, I don't... Was it him on top? Yes, it was, because it did the fake out on Landers before, I think. No, it did Lego. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is the same leads as before. Bridger must be confident in how this is going to work out. That Landers didn't stick around for very long.
Yeah, so hopefully maybe this Landers goes on the offensive. I'm wondering why it doesn't. Well, the Nihilego is there, which is probably why it's not going for the Earthquake. But if Bridger swaps into that Charizard and just goes for the Earthquake, he can get a lot of damage even with that Intimidate on it,
or even just
on that
protect.
Gengar.
Just a single protect. Well, actually, let me rephrase. Protect on Landorus, just in case if the fake out goes for him. Actually, that does make it tricky.
Yeah, now that after this Gengar is Mega Evolved, it's going to be outspeeding everything for quite a while.
And on top goes for the fake out on Landorus.
Like you predicted, you've done this twice. Or every time. The Icy Wind now connects once again, locking that Landorus under 50%. Both of them now losing one.
The Trick Room goes off right now. Oh, Sludge Bomb.
The Sludge Bomb actually goes off. Connecting onto the Hitmontop when you get that early poison on it, seeing as how it was very hurtful in the last game.
I could see Landorus going for the Protect this time. Nihilego going for a Trick Room, hoping for a second round of Icy Winds to really get
and Landorus evades!
Oh, man.
Oh, that is huge for Bridger. That is huge for Bridger. As now, and Lego evades! Landorus is saying, okay, I'm done. Get me out of here. Like, seriously. And he gets the critical hit, which is knocks that Hitmontop into a lower range of health, but that was both of those misses were huge right there, Jordan. It allows that Landorus to go ahead and cycle in and out another round of Intimidate, as well as just allow it to stay alive for a little bit longer.
Crafty decided to come out and play with an Intimidate, which Hitmontop doesn't appreciate very much. Nihilego manages to get off the Trick Room on turn 2. Man. Ooh, Bridger might be able to pull this off with the Landorus surviving.
Absolutely. That was those two misses right there. The Stone Edge and the Icy Wind were huge.
I would have protected instead of U-turning, because, you know, that would have been a whole lot safer. And then you would have had, under Trick Room, protect the Nihilego, Earthquake, and you would have just gotten rid of that Gengar right then and there, you know. But Bridger's got his plan. Bridger's got his plan. We'll have to see how it turns out.
Hitmontop goes ahead and cycles out into the Volcarona.
And Gengar also swaps out for Komao. He knew that worked before. Allows him to just take the fake out since neither of them were moving anyways.
Sludge Bomb goes and connects now onto the Volcarona. Gets the poison, unfortunately. Now that Volcarona is going to be slowly whittled down.
Komao probably going to go for a Clinging Soul Blaze again. And I'm not sure what Volcarona is going to be doing right now.
Why not double setup? Let it get the Quiver Dance off.
because of Power Gem.
Yeah, a Power Gem would be really hurtful for it, but I'm just saying, I mean, if the possibility is there to double setup, I mean, why not?
Maybe, but Volcarona, with the double speed drop from Icy Wind into Nihilego, you know, you see Scrafty pull back into Tapu Fini. A good answer to Komao. The Misty Terrain coming into play.
This Volcarona goes for the Rage Powder.
Probably just trying to keep Komao alive. Sludge Bomb hits and activates the Pinch Berry.
And we do see once again that Langerous Soul Blaze. Did enough for you? Activate.
Close enough.
Hold on, I'll just leave it to you. We'll just give it a second though. As soon as it.
It doesn't affect the opposing Tapu Fini, but it will still hit the Nihilego for a decent amount of damage. And we go for the dance. And a little bit of damage from Nihilego.
That Nihilego tanked that hit. But now with this Omni boost, Kamo is going to be able to hit a lot harder on a lot of different things for sure.
He's going to have to worry about this Tapu Fini though. Even with the Omni boost, a Moon Blast from Tapu Fini is going to hurt a lot. Like, a lot. So, I think Bridger kind of has the advantage at this point, even with the Komao. At the same time, Volcarona continuing to Rage Powder. If Komao has an answer for Fini, then that means that Matthew's going to stay on top.
Another Rage Powder coming out from that Volcarona. And then that Power Gem will go ahead and connect up into that Volcarona, definitely finishing it off, being times 4 effective. Now allowing that Tapu Fini to go ahead and go into the offensive against this Komao. Nihilego getting that Beast Boost, of course, as the Dazzling Gleam goes and connects. A times 4 effective move. Komao, even with...
that's enough to get the knockout.
That Tapu Fini's scary.
Yeah.
And now
I think it's in Bridger's hands at this point.
Okay, now we have Gengar coming in, as well as Hitmontop once again, of course. But once again, though, we've seen this pair do a lot of incredible things, and I feel like if Matthew's able to get rid of this Tapu Fini, there might be a good chance. But right now, Bridger's having a commanding lead, really more offensive this round, I think, than he was last time.
At the same time, though, Trick Room is still up. So, Tapu Fini go for the Muddy Water, get a decent amount of chip damage on both of them. And the Fake Out go onto the Tapu Fini, actually. Nihilego hits the Sludge Bomb onto Hitmontop. And that's enough to get the knockout.
So now Mega Gengar will have to take on the world with a +2 Nihilego. Tapu Fini flinch, and Gengar goes for the Shadow Ball. Good move onto that Nihilego probably to guarantee that knockout, but it's still around. And that berry.
And the berry goes off. I'm pretty sure this game is going to Bridger.
Even after the Trick Room ends, unfortunately, I do have to agree with you. That Nihilego is going to be tanking any attack that this Gengar is going to throw at it, and with the Tapu Fini following up right behind it, you never know. But Tapu Fini's going to go ahead and take a Sludge Bomb, get knocked out here, and Nihilego's just going to go ahead and get up another Trick Room just to guarantee the victory, which is really, really smart thinking on Bridger's part.
You see Scrafty come out to play.
And with as much damage as we have seen this knockoff from this Crafty do onto Gengar, yeah, it's definitely an uphill battle for this Gengar.
So much, in fact, that most likely Matthew here, and we see that Matthew does forfeit. So we are going into round 3.
Round 3 for the finals. Oof, sounds so good. Sounds so good to hear. Now, what do you think Matthew went wrong here? Was it the
It was the going for the Clinging Soul Blaze again. That's one of those things that you do once, maybe again on the 3rd game, but your opponent is going to see that and respond with someone like Tapu Fini. You know, when you have a Fairy type out there, it's really sucks for Komao. You know, and so you saw it even with the special defense boost. Along with all of the other boosts, it
that
still
Dazzling
died
Gleam
in one hit. So, you know, I don't think we're going to see Komao again on this round 3. Possibly the Tyranitar instead. But at the same time, Tapu Fini kind of sucks to go against. Actually, I could see Tapu Bulu coming in as a response to Tapu Fini. That's a matchup that definitely goes in Tapu Bulu's favor.
Absolutely. And we haven't seen it at all these past two rounds, past two games as well. So it would be the the best opportunity for it to come in. However, Bridger might want to switch something up as well, as I don't believe we've seen his Charizard yet as well.
Nope, we haven't. Now we're gonna have to see if Bridger is going to sacrifice his Landorus again or not. Like if he had missed, that Landorus would have gone down again.
It would have, yes.
It's been like the sacrificial land. First game, that kind of mattered a lot. Second game, not so much, as he was able to stay on top.
This Nihilego and Landorus once again enter on the field.
He's really confident in this lead.
As so is Matthew with Gengar and Hitmontop.
I mean, both of these leads have worked once. Why not go for it again? To the Intimidates trade.
I'm wondering what goes through the mind of both these players as they're thinking, this again.
Actually, I wonder if this Landorus is an Assault Vest, so it doesn't have Protect.
I was thinking the same thing, because this Icy Wind that it's eating up from this, well, not eating up, but that it's taking from this Gengar, I mean, while it's doing a lot of damage, it's still times 4 effective. And that's just from a Mega Gengar, so I would sometimes expect this Landorus to go down, but the fact that it's only taking 50% leads me to believe that it might be a serious.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is the fact that it's not protecting. Makes me believe it's
but we do see Nihilego go for the Protect here, actually. Hitmontop's going for the Fake Out, which is into that Nihilego slot, and Icy Wind does go ahead and just connect into that my apologies, Landorus. It's going to go ahead and take 50%, get a -1 speed drop. And it looks like it was actually a lower roll there, kind of surviving above 50%, as it does go for that Earthquake.
Kind of what we were talking about in the last game, and we were surprised we didn't see it.
As we do see how much damage that actually does do to the Gengar, regardless of whether or not there is that Intimidate drop. It still did a huge chunk of damage, and Gengar is almost gone, Landorus is almost gone. If there's another low roll here on that Icy Wind, Gengar can be knocked out here.
I think this Landorus will be able to take another one with the low amount of damage.
As we do see this Icy Wind go off, can this Landorus live it?
No, it doesn't.
Unfortunately not. Jinx. So we do see Hitmontop go for the Stone Edge, and Nihilego is able to evade and get up the Trick Room. Gosh, Stone Edges are not Hitmontop's friend.
Nope. Absolutely not. But that was a decent chunk of damage for Gengar. You know, that's a good way to kind of make sure that it's not sticking around for too much longer.
Now Tapu Fini makes its way back onto the field here.
I would say a Muddy Water coming from Tapu Fini at this point. A way to pick up the knockout on the Gengar and deal a decent amount of damage to Hitmontop. Tapu Fini also going into Hitmontop to chunk it out with some more damage. But he has to be careful if Gengar is able to get off a Sludge Bomb on the Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini's not going to be sticking around, you know. So it's interesting to see how this turn is going to play out.
Gengar's going to go ahead and swap out here, and Kommo-o is going to make its way onto the field.
I think that's a mistake.
Not if your Hitmontop can Wide Guard, which is...
Oh, yes, that's true. And the Dazzling Gleam is what we see coming from Tapu Fini, but instead it's a Moon Blast.
Onto that Hitmontop. It's a good read there by Bridger.
But still, now we know that he could have Moon Blasted into Kommo-o, and you know,
that's very scary.
Yeah, Bridger has this. I'm calling it now. Bridger has this.
I don't know. I feel like Matthew will still be able to make something of this. Solve the Trick Rooms for as long as he can. Yes, that Tapu Fini does carry both Dazzling Gleam and Moonblast, which is extremely, extremely scary. Which is actually just really good prep on Bridger's part, knowing that a lot of Pokemon do carry Wide Guard, or a lot of teams now do have Wide Guard, or something like that. The Rage Powder, Follow Me.
It makes me wonder if Tapu Fini is carrying Muddy Water at all, or if it just has 2 fairy moves, a single and a spread. And a lot of people kind of like the accuracy drop on Muddy Water, but if he wants to go for the more just consistent type of damage, Como goes for the protect, anticipating something, anything.
And the Sludge goes and connects on that Gengar, wanting to weaken it just a little bit more as Tapu Fini goes for the Moonblast. It's doubling into the Gengar. There's an amazing read there by Bridger, and it picks up the knockout, knowing that it can handle that Como. Excellent read on Bridger's point, and now I do believe that Bridger is in a really good commanding position. I do agree with you.
And we see Volcarona, who he was expecting to swap into at this point. The power... Yeah, this is Bridger's game.
Yeah, that read there was really, really excellent. But once again, it's just one of those situations of there's a high risk, high reward system as far as, you know, trying to get into your opponent's head, trying to figure out what they want to do and trying to play around that. But if you over predict, you know, it could cost you, or it could be the best thing ever to happen, like it just did for Bridger there. As the Power Gem now does go ahead and connect into that Volcarona. It does go down, unfortunately. Just cannot handle that Power Gem on any circumstances. Now Lego gets that Beast Boost, and now Como is, I believe, going to be knocked out by the Moonblast, and I believe we have Bridger Snow. Bridger Snow picking up the victory over Matthew Greaves here in the Midseason Showdown. Wonderful job to both of these players. Once again, Bridger having taken the victory, but Matthew has his World's Invite as of now. So congrats to both of these trainers. They both fought hard, and in some sense, they both won today.
Yeah, I think Matthew wound up at the end there more just going with what he knew as opposed to trying to adapt, and it cost him that match. Bridger was completely in control.
Absolutely, and we're just going to go ahead and transition back to us here. And just wanting to say thank you guys so much for tuning in to Utah Pokemon's Mid-Season Showdown here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Hopefully it won't be too long until our next Mid-Season Showdown. I think it will be coming up in March.
Yeah, the next one is in March.
So hopefully we'll be able to see you guys then. And until then, you know, we'll catch you guys whenever we can. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you around. Goodbye, everyone.